good. You ready to do this, dude?
Yeah, let's do it, bro.
Brandon, welcome to the show, man. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Been a long time, dude.
Sure,
I'm excited for this one. So why don't we just dive right into who you are and where you're from?
All right, I'm Brandon Mendez. I was born in Santa Ana, California, but I grew up mostly in Riverside.
Cali boy.
Yeah.
Cali boy, how was that?
It was cool, man. The weather's beautiful. Where I grew up, it was, the neighborhoods that I grew up were a little bit rough, you know?
Okay.
Just like Southern California, most of the neighborhoods in Southern California. But, yeah, I mean, I did enjoy it at the time growing up there, for sure. I was exposed to different walks of life.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
Yeah.
I bet the beach scene or, you know, that area is probably pretty interesting. And as a kid, being able to experience so many different cultures and people and everything.
And like I said, I was born in Santa Ana.
Yeah.
Grew up mostly in Riverside, right? But I went to school in the city of Orange.
Okay.
So, like, I spent a lot of time in Orange County and the Inland Empire.
Yeah.
And so, but I also lived in different places in Southern California. Like, I lived in San Clemente when I was in the Marine Corps.
I mean, San Clemente's so nice, dude. So nice.
It was so nice.
Okay, so if you were in San Clemente, where were you? Okay, let's just jump right into the military then.
Uh-huh.
So what made you want to join the Marine Corps? Military out of all things, but why the Marines?
Okay, so I didn't know that I wanted to join the military. It's like when I was a junior in high school, right? But I remember I had a buddy who grew up in the same neighborhood that I did, and he had joined the Marine Corps. But I didn't know nothing about the military at that time, right? So I remember one day he was there when I was getting out of school, and he was there with the Marine Corps recruiter. And the Marine Corps recruiter was in his freaking dress, was his blues, right? No, not his blues. It was the Charlies.
Okay, short sleeve.
Yeah, and so he was there chilling, and then with my buddy, right? I walked up to my buddy, and not knowing anything about the Marine Corps, I just saw a guy in the uniform. I for some reason thought it was the Navy, and so I walked up to my boy, and I was like, "Hey, dog, so I heard you joining the Navy," and he's like, "The Navy? Fuck that!" And he's like, "I'm joining the Marine Corps, dog." And I remember the recruiter looked at me, he's like, "Hey," he gave me his card, and he's like, "If you ever think about doing a man's job," he's like, "Give me a call."
That
was the perfect line, dude.
That was it, huh?
It stuck with me forever, right? To this day, so I still remember exactly those are the exact words he used. And at that time, I was a knucklehead, so like I didn't really care about joining the military at all. And I remember I was walking back to one of my classes, and I just like crumpled the paper and threw it away. I'm sorry, I wasn't going to class; I was going home because it was the end of the school. The end of the class, whatever. And so I just threw it away. Didn't think much of it. But then when I turned a senior, my mom ended up moving to Virginia. Okay. And she left me to stay with my aunt. And so, and my cousins, like my aunt's kids, they're good kids, you know, they're very good people. Now they grow up to be very successful. And I remember seeing that, you know, and having like a different outlook at life.
Yep.
Because I got to experience, you know, something completely different with my aunt and my uncle who I was living with. They showed me a completely different way of life.
Okay. How so?
Well, because the way I grew up with my mom and my dad, my mom and my dad separated when I was about 9 years old.
Okay.
But my dad was an alcoholic, and from what I've been told and from the things that I remember, he used to sell drugs as well. You know, so this is like in the early 90s.
Yeah.
Cocaine was a big thing, right?
Yep.
So my dad was selling cocaine, and since he was an alcoholic, he used to beat my mom right in front of us, right in front of my brothers, and so. That kind of experience, because I remember like certain incidents where, like one time, like I was saying, my dad had, my mom actually had bought me and my brothers a pool, and my dad for some reason got mad about it, and since he was drunk, he started beating up my mom. And my mom was like, you know, short Salvadoran lady. I just remember her not taking the shit either, though, right? So she was fighting back, but she's a woman, you know.
Yeah.
There's a certain point that my dad overpowered her, and I just remember she had a cut under her eye because he had hit her with his fist. And it got so bad that there was one of my uncles that lived there in the house with us. He had to come stop my dad from basically almost killing my mom. And so I remember my mom went into our room and locked the door. I don't remember where my dad was at that point, but I remember me and my brothers were outside in the backyard playing. In the backyard, the window, well, you could see through the window to our room. And I just remember mom sitting down on this little sofa chair and just, crying.
Yeah.
My dad beat the shit out of her. So can I cuss on this?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man. You're good. Trust me, you're good.
Because I remember my when I'm crying there because my dad beat the shit out of her. And I remember looking through the window. Me and my brother just looking at my mom. And I just remember her, like, just looking directly into the wall and not saying anything. And those are, like, memories that I remember about my dad, like, they were pretty fucked up, And it was, like, and also, like, my dad, one time I remember, my dad was just very, like, angry individual, right? Especially when he started drinking. Like, as a matter of fact, just recently I was talking to my mom about one incident when I was a little kid. I said that I had a really bad fever, and that she said that when she fell asleep, and like in the middle of the night she woke up, and I was convulsing, and there was like foam coming out of my mouth.
No kidding.
My fever was so bad, and so then my mom she woke up and she she started freaking out, and I guess I don't know, one of my dad's friends that was living there with us, he was the one that called the ambulance and freaking ended up having to tell my dad that we were in the hospital because my dad wasn't there. He was out.
No shit.
In bars drinking with other women and stuff like that. So yeah, and so like those are the kind of things that my father used to stupid things that my dad used to do, or like he would get friends over and then same thing, he'd just get drunk. And I remember I'd see him in the morning out laid out in the restroom telling me and my brothers, I'm dying. It was because he was just fucking hammered.
Damn, man.
There was another incident too that I remember. There was one time we had family that lived in LA, a really bad area of LA, and I remember my dad got drunk. Same thing, trying to hit my mom, and his family members were at his family members' houses, right? And they were able to stop my dad from hitting her that time. And my dad went outside and he got in some kind of fight. There was all a bunch of gang members in that area, right? And he came back and my dad was beat up. He fucked him up, right?
Yeah.
And so my dad comes back and he's like telling me, "Oh, yo soy macho, hijo. Yo soy macho." I tell him, I'm a tough guy. I'm sure he beat the shit out of him. But those are the kind of things I'm saying, like, the kid, like, seeing that, right? Like, it kind of, in a way, I kind of got accustomed to seeing a lot of, like, just turmoil and violence in my house.
No kidding. At such a young age, too.
At a very young age.
And your mom dipped at 9? Or
when I was 9 years old.
Left him at 9?
Left him
when you were 9?
Yeah. Well, he got to a point because, like, my mom started seeing dating somebody else.
Oh, okay.
At that time. Here goes, like, something else that my dad did that I remember. This is why my mom and him kind of started splitting up. My mom actually had the nerves to leave him, right? But my dad was seeing some other woman at that time. This is when I was like 8 or 9, right before my mom and him separated. But I remember one incident. I still kind of have a little resentment towards my dad because of this certain memory. But those kids, the lady had these kids, right? And those kids, we were like really cool with them because we were kids, and my mom and my mom knew that lady, and we were there, all the family, like those people were like get together and stuff like that, right? And so I remember there's one incident where we're at that same people's house where my dad got drunk and he got beat up by those gangbangers. We were at their house, and I remember my dad, since he was already seeing that lady and he was, around those kids a lot. I remember we all of us, me, my 2 brothers, and those 2 other kids, we fell asleep in the living room. And my dad and them were all drinking and stuff like that and partying. And when my dad came and he saw the kids sleeping there, he picked them up and then took them to the room, and to the bed and put them to sleep. And I still remember, like, my dad walked past the living room again, going back to the kitchen where everybody was at, and he just looked at us, me and my brothers.
So he left you laying on.
He left me and my brothers laid out right there.
And took those other kids to sleep.
And so those are memories I still have, and I think that, like, just recently, I haven't spoken to my dad in about a year now, and because those are, like, memories I still have that I kind of, like, resentment that I have towards them.
For sure.
But, like, my dad was just an all around pretty much a piece of shit,
When your mom left, did you have a relationship with him, like, growing up still, or is that it?
I tried to.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, we did. Like, even when I was younger, like, I think that I I had a lot of anger towards him.
For sure.
And sometimes I would, snap at him. Cause I had like I said, I had a lot of anger towards him. And when I joined the Marine Corps, we did have a relationship. And even when I was in the Marine Corps, I still had a relationship. And I think it got a little bit better after I got injured, right?
Okay.
But I think like since then, from when I get injured to just recently, like I try to still have like that good relationship with them. And even when I had my son, especially, I tried to make that a good point, right? But it was my dad didn't change. He still hasn't changed. He still has
to this day.
To this day, he's the kind of person that is very prideful and won't admit when he makes mistakes, right?
Yeah, which gets you nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. And like I've told my older brother that sometimes I feel like he is like expects like I owe him something.
You know why? I mean? Like why the entitlement? You know,
I don't know. I have no idea. Like
coming, especially from the children,
right? And he never like wants to admit like what he did, right? And he always puts all the blame on my mom, on my mother, and same thing. I've had my issues with my mom and from the past of the things that she did, right? Nobody's perfect. My mom made her mistakes as well, but I feel like at least my mom she accepts it. Yeah. She's apologized, right? And I have a very good relationship with my mom, but
that's like the biggest step.
Yeah.
You know, in trying to be a better parent and trying to be there for your kids is accepting like when you make a mistake, you know?
Right.
Especially you as a dad. I know, you know, you're a new dad and it's like, you know, it's only going to get, you know, I don't want to say harder because being a parent is just incredible. I love it, but it's challenging, you know, but it's like when you do snap or you do have those moments where you're like, okay, like as long as you can check yourself. And it's not consistent, but I mean, you can you know, I get exactly what you're saying, you know, just like, but like if you're able to accept like, okay, I made a mistake, that's the best thing we can do and to move forward and correct it.
And, you know, 100%, I agree with you. And like I said, my dad doesn't understand that. And now, like, I still try to have a relationship with him.
Yeah.
Until like just recently, like a year ago that we had this big argument. And I just basically told him, like, you can't, like, what you did wasn't right, you know? And, you know, like, as a matter of fact, I feel, because he had another family, right? He moved back to El Salvador, because that's where my parents are from. He went back to El Salvador after he split up with my mom. And so he spent all that time there, and he got, like, immediately, within a year, he got remarried, and he had another child.
No kidding.
My half-brother.
So then that hits pretty hard. You know, seeing that as a kid and hearing it and that
Well, the thing is, like, though, like, I felt like at that time, it didn't really bother me.
Yeah.
You know, until later on, now that I'm older, like, there's so many things that he gave my half brother that he didn't give to me and my brothers, right? Like, I feel like I didn't ask to be brought into this world. You brought me here. You know, like, I feel like, if I don't know, like I said, he feels like well, to me, it feels like if I owe him something, right? And I'm like, you owe me a lot. Like, you fucking, and I told him, I don't know, when we got this big argument, I told him, look, Dad, I was like, you picked up and left to another country, and you want to claim that you didn't abandon us. I was like, if that's not abandonment, then I don't know what is, man. Yeah. You had another family. You took off and went and had another family. And I was like, you can't tell me anything different. Because now I'm a father, and there's no way in hell that I would do that to my son. You know?
Did he ever accept it or no?
Nah, man, we had a big. It was bad. It wasn't even.
Is that why the fight happened?
The way I'm saying it right now is kind of nice. The way, it didn't really come out that way. It was way worse. Like,
for sure.
I called him a coward and stuff like that.
And how did he take that? I mean, was he?
He was mad. He was fucking pissed.
Was he still denying it though, or trying to fight it, or was he starting to accept it
for a second? I think because I know, like, it was kind of like a stab in the heart, struck a nerve. But man, that's exactly how I feel, and especially now, I think that just my outlook about it and about that situation is so much different because I'm a father, you know, I'm a dad, and so I just can never do that to my boy.
Hell no. No way, you know, and I think that's the best part about being a great dad, or, you know, is looking, because our parents, you know, like, you're a dad now. You could read all the books, watch all the damn YouTube videos. Nothing prepares you for being a parent, but it's like, how do you face the situations that you're going to be dealt? How do you get to overcome them? How do you correct your children? And I feel like our parents had no idea, you know, like, I mean, now there's so many freaking self-help and how to raise, you know, you could try to do all that, but I don't think any of it truly gets you ready for being a parent. But it's us being able to look back and seeing the good and the bad that our parents did, taking what, you know, at least this is how I look at it, is like, I loved what my parents did here. Maybe this could have been different. I'm going to change that part, you know, but who knows? Maybe our kids will grow up and be like, you all were
I'm
fucked,
sure.
I'm
100%. I'm 100% sure that my son's going to be like, when he gets older, I could have done things a little bit different, because I notice it now, you know, I'm like, but it's so difficult because I didn't have, like, my dad was just never around. Like I said, he lived in El Salvador most of the time after my mom and him split up. And he came back, to the U.S. like around the time when I joined the Marine Corps.
Okay. So he's gone a while.
Yeah, he was gone more than 10 years.
Did he come back with a family, or did he come back solo? Oh, okay.
And so, now, and see, that's what I was like, when we're talking about, you know, like you try to take the good things from what your parents show. For me, it's like, I don't have that blueprint of being a father, because I never had a father.
Yep.
And like, and so some of the times, like, I've noticed, and even my wife calls me out on it, like, I try to treat my son sometimes like he's a fucking boot, you know?
Yeah.
And because that's, like, I tell a lot of people, it's like, my father figure wasn't my dad. Mm-hmm. I had different father figures, you know? Like, for me, my father figures was my mom, my aunt's husband. Mm-hmm. He was like a father figure to me. And I have another uncle that was like a father figure to me. As a matter of, I mean, like, okay, well, I'm sorry. Like, also like my squad leader, my father, and my team leaders. You know, those were my.
So the military was an incredible structure for you to 100%. Be able to have that.
And those guys, like my friends that were older than me, or my senior Marines, they were like, I learned, because, dude, you know, a lot of us were guys who joined the Marine Corps were kind of a little fucked up as it is, right?
100%.
So I try to take the best, like kind of what you mentioned, right? Mm-hmm. Try to take the best out of every guy that you, every person that I looked up at. I try to take the best qualities from them and then instill into myself, and try to do that with my son. So like, I tell my wife sometimes, like, I had father figures that were very kind, and father figures that were very hard and disciplined. One of my uncles, I remember, right before I left to Iraq, he told me, "Look, son, you know, this is gonna sound real fucked up, but I mean, he's from third world country too, you know, Salvador and stuff, Guatemala. He's from Guatemala, but they grew up completely different. But like, when he knew that I was leaving, he's like, look, son. So when you go out there, you come back home. If that means that you fucking have to kill women and children, you do it, but you come back home."
No shit. You know? This is what you're getting told right before you're.
That's what I was getting told, and I mean, but I have to understand, like, people have to understand, like, where my uncles come from. Yeah, it's survival. Like,
well, a lot of people, especially Americans, we're so sheltered here. Yeah. And you go to these South American countries, or just a lot. I mean, there's countries all over the world where, like, I mean, death, murder, rape, everything is an everyday thing, and so you just learn to live with it. Exactly. You know, so you being told that, like, that's how that dude grew up, probably in the streets, fighting his whole life and fighting to survive, and so he's like looking at you like, okay, like, do what you have to do, because that's what he's had to do his whole life.
And like, you know, inside, like, exactly like you said, he has that understanding that, like, I grew up in the U.S., right? So like, he was expecting me. You're going to go over there. You're going to see things that you're not going to be used to. You know, a whole different type of violence. And so it's like, he was basically telling me, he's like, you got to do what you got to do, but I want you to come home. Yeah. You know. So I mean, so that's like basically how I grew up, like, with my family, my dad.
What about your mom? You said your mom left and moved out east when you were 9.
When I was.
Why didn't she take you with her?
No, she moved out there when my mom and my dad separated when I was 9.
Okay. Oh, okay.
My mom moved to Virginia when I was about 16. I was turning 17. Yeah.
And you weren't leaving Cali? You were just staying, or what?
I didn't want to leave.
Oh, it was your choice to stay?
It was definitely my choice. But my mom wanted to. She was like, "No, you're coming with me." You're still a minor, right?
She didn't fight you?
No, she didn't fight me. I ain't going. I'm not going.
Yeah.
And so she took off and took my younger brother with her.
Okay.
Right? My older brother was, I think he had just turned 18. And
so he's on his own.
He was on his own. He got married, had a baby at a young age. And so, but he was, he had his own apartment at that time. And so it was my choice. And I could have gone. My mom could have forced me, but she said she didn't fight me. She just asked what she told me, where I'm going to go. And I was like, well, I don't want to go. And she's like, well, then I don't know what you're going to do, but I'm leaving. And so,
no shit. Why'd she leave? Why was she moving out there?
She had a boyfriend out there.
Okay.
And she just wanted a different, how would you say, she's trying to find a fresh start, you know? And, but at that time, I did kind of get upset with my mom, I felt like you left me. But I think it was the right choice that she did. Because it definitely made me snap out of a little, I guess, rebel stage I was going through at that time. I think because once my mom and my dad separated, I was around. Like I said, my dad used to sell drugs. It was alcohol, and the neighborhoods that I grew up were a lot of gangs and other some of our neighbors where I used to live were drug traffickers. Okay, and so I saw that style of living growing up. So I remember being 9 years old, and thinking, oh, one day when I grow up, I'm gonna join a gang. And
really?
And then I thought that was cool, And
we don't know any different. That's that's been your environment, your whole life. You've been surrounded by it.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember we would go to these some of my dad's family members that lived in LA, and the daughters, they had these 3 older daughters who were freaking were involved with other with the gangbangers, the local gang members, and so they would take us to the liquor store. And when I walk into the liquor store, we would see just gangbangers hanging out that they knew, and they'd go and talk to them, stuff like that, right? Or I remember one time we went to El Salvador, and then I had a cousin who was involved with
place is wild.
They call them las maras, right? At that time. So he was involved. I remember him throwing up gang signs when we were in El Salvador. So I saw those kind of things, and I was thinking, oh, that's cool. I said man, that's the thing to do, right? And then when I started growing up, my mom ended up remarrying, right? And she got the person she married was he was a veteran, but in the Salvadoran Civil War.
Really?
Yeah. This dude was a fucking asshole. He was a dickhead. But to this day, if I ever see him while I'm walking down the street, I'm gonna hit that motherfucker in the mouth.
Really that bad, huh?
I still don't like that fool. But the thing is about that guy, there was some good that came from that. He treated us like shit. Sometimes he would just get on us about things that he just did that we didn't even do. I remember one time he got mad at me and my brothers because he thought that we stole it was $8 or $7, right? And he for a whole week, he just hazed me and my brothers and beat the shit out of us.
How was he hazing you guys?
Okay, he would make us sit in the squatty position with our hands out like that for fucking 30, 45 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, dude. And I remember one time, or then he would make us put our hands on the walls and just keep them up there. And he would fucking hit us with the belt.
Damn, dude. So you got just dealt every card when it came to a father figure as a child.
Yeah. And I remember, one time he got mad. I don't remember why he got mad at me. But what I was saying, he got mad at us because we thought we stole $8 to $7. For a whole week, he just harassed us, right? And then finally one day he just found it underneath some books that he had, and we never stole any of that shit, right? Or one time I remember he fucking beat the shit out of me and my brothers because he thought that we switched over the salt shaker. What we had, my mom had a salt shaker, but she put sugar in it, right? Okay. And he put it with I don't know who put salt in it. I think it was my younger brother. He put salt in that shit and he used it and put in his coffee, so he thought that we did it too.
Just to mess with him?
Yeah, just to mess with him.
And you just got your ass beat for that.
Got our ass beat for that. But
when you say you got your ass beat, how bad is he whooping on you guys?
Good enough to make us scared, I remember one time we had this one dog. We had a Rottweiler, and he was training him when he was a puppy, right? And so he had the training collar, the one that you can just pull and it chokes, or the choke collar. whatever. But I remember the dog did something, and I was trying to discipline or correct the dog, right? And so I pulled it, and he got mad at me. And so I remember he said, well, you want to see how that feels? So he took it and he put it on my wrist and just started yanking it, like hard enough so like he just fucking blistered up my whole wrist.
No kidding.
And I think that same time I was sitting down on the little we had like, it was kind of like not an island but like countertop, right? And that's where we were eating. And I remember sitting down on the stool, and that's when he did that. And he also kicked me. First he punched me, and then he kicked the stool. So he sent me flying off the stool. And I was like 11 years old. Really? 10 or 11, a little kid. And so he would do things like that. Or one time he made me go outside, and he would put, it was cold. This is in Riverside, like out in the desert. You know, at night it gets really cold, right? It was like Christmas time. And he put like popcorn seeds on the cement floor. And he made me get down in my boxers. And he made me go outside and get on my knees and get on my knees on those popcorn seeds and put my hands up like I was being arrested for like, I think it was out there for like an hour.
Damn, you had to kneel on popcorn seeds on the concrete?
On the concrete.
Just because?
I don't remember why he got mad, but I remember he did that.
That's some pretty sadistic shit, though.
Yeah, right? And so, like, I remember he would do things like that. And one time he'd get mad at me and my brothers, and he would make us go outside and run barefoot. And he'd be like, he'll tell us, if you fall back behind me, he goes, if you start getting close to where I'm at, I'm going to kick you in the ass, right? And I remember I was so tired. We're running around the whole apartment complex doing that late at night. And I remember I started falling back. Mm-hmm. And so he freaking kicked me like hard. He just kicked me right in the ass, right? And so I had to catch up with my brothers. But yeah, that's how it was growing up until like, I think around when I was maybe 15, him and my mom separated. Oh, okay. Okay, so that like, but you know, for a long time too, I had like kind of like a grudge against my mom because of that. Because I remember I would tell my mom like, hey, it's like how can you let this man do this to me and my brothers? You know, like, and she would just say, oh, when you get older, you're gonna understand that it's for your own good. And I mean, don't get me wrong, like we weren't little angels or anything like that, right? But still, like they're just just ways to be able to discipline us and do things like that, especially from a man that's not my dad. You know, that's not my father. So
that could be pretty rough. I can see
that. Yeah. And so like I just think that like I said, I hate the motherfucker, but I don't regret those things. Like, well, not regret it, but like I don't dwell on it too much because I learned a lot from it. Like,
well, I mean, that's pretty much the best thing you can do is try to learn and take those the whys, like why did this happen, right. And then and try to apply that now as a father and be like, okay, like do I need to be this mad over this situation?
Yeah, and it's so difficult to do. Man, it's not, my wife tells me sometimes too, like when you're in that moment, you have to realize what you're doing, what you're saying. Well, like it's so hard because at that moment you're not thinking about anything else but except the fact that how you that you feel upset. Yeah. Right. So, but I'm getting better at it. I think I've been seeing counseling, and trying to learn how to manage that kind of anger. That frustration that comes from a lot of things that I went through in life.
Well, I'm sure you have a lot of it built up too. Oh yeah. Not just from childhood but military trauma, and then you evolve out, or we transition out of the military, and then you carry all this childhood trauma into military trauma. Then all of a sudden one day they're like, hey, you're a civilian again, good luck. And then we start families, and we've never gotten the help or learned how to cope how to actually handle anger and stress and everything, and then it relies on us. And I think that's where a lot of guys get in trouble, and end up in shitty situations because we've never gotten the help. But it takes a really good wife.
100%.
Takes a really good wife to get us out of that shit.
In that case, I mean, I'm definitely blessed. I'm lucky to gone through all that and came out at the other end okay. Yeah. Because I remember so like I was saying though, so like my mom and him, they separated when I was about 15. Yeah. And at that time, like, I think he started noticing too that like things were starting to change with us. Like, he would always tell us, you know, like when he would get mad, I remember he would have conversations with them for like an hour, and him just grilling us, you know. And one thing that still stays in my mind is that he always tell us like, if when you turn 18, or he would go to each one of us first of all. He would always tell me and he started with my older brother, and he'd go to me, and he'd go to my younger brother. But he would always ask us, "Do you want me to kick your ass?"
Just random?
Well, when we would have those conversations where he was trying to like talk to us about like how we're behaving or not, you know, and he'd be like, "Do you want me to kick your ass?" It's like, we're like 10, 11, 12 years old, and he would say those kind of things, and we're like, all right, I'm gonna be like, "Yeah, kick my ass, please." You know, I'm little, I can't defend myself for one thing. He's way bigger than us, and so me and my brothers, we were petrified of him, you know, and so. And like he got to a point where he would always say like, when you're 18, I'm gonna kick your ass. That's what he would say. And so like when I turned 15, I was already growing up. I wasn't taking as much shit from him anymore. Nope. And so the same thing with my older brother. So then I started, especially me. I started talking back to him, and like and him like beating my ass, like how we used to, the things he used to do. It stopped. By the time I was 15, he didn't do it at all anymore, because he kind of knew it wasn't gonna happen anymore. Yep. My mom and him were separating, so once they separated, I remember my mom like was trying to get away from him, and he was like started stalking her and stuff like that. And so I think the moment that he realized that I was no longer a kid, he started following me and my mom. She was taking me to school, and when we get to my school, my mom says, I told her, "Don't get out of the car. I'll be right back." And so I went to get some of my buddies that were out, and it's like, really? They were bigger. They were big dudes, they were big boys. And so like I was like, "Yeah, come, like have my back, whatever." And so we go over there to the to his van, and I remember he didn't want to get out of the car. He just rolled the window down, maybe like 2 inches down, and he started trying to talk to me to calm me down. But I was trying to pull him out of the car. I was trying to open the car door.
Tide shifted.
Yeah, and I started kicking the windows, and he was like, he's like, I just remember saying, "I love you like a son." And I was like, "You don't fucking love me, dude," And like after that, I was trying to get him out, and he just left. And
that's because he's a bully, man. Yeah. He's a coward his whole life and could take it out on you guys until he couldn't anymore.
Exactly.
And that, like, it's got to be frustrating looking back and be like, fuck, if I would have known this dude was such a bitch this whole time, like.
Man, there's now, because like, then I look back and I think about it, and now I see, like, there was things that he did that I'm like, he was such a bitch. But I thought he was, like.
So scary at the time.
Yeah, dude. And I remember one time, this is how much full of shit he was. And he one time told me, and my brothers, like, "Oh, you guys have a deadly weapon here in his house." Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
dude's never done shit in his life. Trying to tell you some trained deadly weapon.
I remember he had this. He had a 45, Glock 45, and so he asked me, "Do you know what the deadly weapon is?" And I was like, "So your gun?" And he's like, "No." I was like, and we couldn't figure out what he was talking about. Right? And he's like, "Me."
Oh so god.
Fucking corny, dude. But I remember one time we were kids, and I was a little shithead. I would just start talking shit to people, right? Just like I was making fun of people, right? And I remember one time we were at the pool, and this one of my buddy's sisters, like I was always talk shit to her, and I would fucking call her lesbian. Like,
okay.
And this one there was this gangbanger that was there, and he was like, "Oh, what's wrong with her being a lesbian?" Try to correct me. I was joking around, but I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then he said something to me like, he's like, "Oh, just fucking, you're just a little shit talker or some shit." And I got offended. I was a little kid, right?
Yeah.
An older man telling me that, right? And so I go over there to my mom's husband, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, this guy said this to me," crying. And he's like, "All right, I'm gonna go see what's up," right?
Yeah.
So he goes over there trying to be like fucking act like a tough guy, and he goes and says this. I don't remember what he said to the guy because I was fairly far away from him. And the guy I remember he spits on the ground, and he gets up and like fucking gets face to face with my mom's husband, and like and then one of the other guy's friend got out of the pool, some big old fat dude, and he comes up to him and he's like like telling him, "Oh, what's going on here," right? And they were about to jump my mom's husband.
Yeah.
And he just like, okay, whatever, like walks away, but I could tell he's scared,
Oh, for sure.
He's scared. And he walks away from him, and they're like, and the guy, one of the gangbanger says some shit to him, right? So he goes back to the house, and we all, like, he makes me and my brothers go back to to the apartment. And he fucking, starts harassing us there. And shit.
Oh, because he got punked, and now he's got to take it out on you.
Yeah, and then he, supposedly, this is what he said, that he went back, and there was like a little bench right there by the pool, and then he sat there, and he had this 45 with him right here, put it on this freaking small of his back. And he was supposed to read the newspaper, and from what he told us, they said the guy came up to him and apologized or some shit.
Oh, God, yeah,
I don't believe it. But, yeah, dude, my mom has a really good
track record of picking some dudes, huh? that has paid off with you. Yeah. But I mean, I'm sure all of that kind of prepared you for the military in a way.
In a way. Yeah, and that's exactly why, like, I was saying, like, even though I hate that dude, I did learn a lot from him. Like, so when I got to the Marine Corps, like, man, you get hazed, but it wasn't like, it's boot camp, right? When you go.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So, what was boot camp like for you? So, I would imagine you have some sort of problem with authority at this point in your life.
Oh yeah.
Like you probably look at every adult as just,
Yeah, but like, dude, I don't know. It was something about like when you join the Marine Corps, drill instructors.
Oh.
Like that. Yeah, there's no way I'm gonna be like, oh fuck you. I'm not gonna listen to anybody. Like, those are some fucking. Especially during that time, like a lot of these dudes were like fucking 3 tours in, or were in the push.
What year did you join?
I joined in 05.
Oh yeah, so you were So you were getting drill instructors that were already done some tours.
Combat, yeah, they all had combat.
Okay, so yeah, I guess because when I went in, I don't remember any of mine. They were all still born from the devil, but I mean, I would imagine it's even worse because now you're getting dudes back from the war.
Hardened, I battle hardened. Yeah.
And you add the drill instructor title to it. I'm sure it was just the absolute worst.
Oh, dude, like,
so how was that transition? Like going from, not the best childhood through your mom's choices of men, and obviously taking it out on you through being drunks or just a bully, and then now you're in San Diego. Boot camp, like, what was that culture shock for you, or were you prepared for it?
I was kind of. It wasn't really a culture shock.
Yeah,
it was like, okay, like, they yell at you, and they might hit you with the bill of their hand, and got elbowed, or a little jab every here and there. It wasn't a big deal. Yeah. The way I looked at it was like, okay, whatever. Sometimes you get your ass kicked. I'm used to that. Like,
for
not
sure.
a big deal for me. Like, but I knew like at the end of the day, I'm doing something good. You know what I mean? I have a future here, and I was going to learn something. And so it wasn't really a culture shock to me. I just, like, that's why sometimes, like, we had, like, this one Marine. I don't think he wasn't in my platoon, but he was, they were, I think they stayed up in the barracks, but the level above us. We were on the second floor. This dude was on the third floor. And at the end of the squad, you have those stairs that go down.
Yep.
Okay, he jumped off that. Like, he tried to commit suicide.
Off the third deck?
Off the third deck. And there was down on the bottom, there was the monkey bars. So where we used to do pull-ups, right? And he landed on that. From what I remember, God. I don't think he died. I don't think he died.
I don't mean to laugh, but
no, man.
I mean, the third deck isn't that tall. I mean,
he landed right on the monkey bars. And
God!
Like, he ended up just like becoming paralyzed.
Just fucked himself up real good.
Trying to kill himself. But like, I remember thinking at that time, like, why? Like, it's not that bad.
It's
not that bad.
It's crazy to think. You take your life, and then you take some kid that's from like.
Probably came from a good home.
The Midwest.
Yeah.
Probably came from some good little Christian family. Has never had to do anything. So
that's a culture shock for sure. 100%.
I came from a village, upstate New York on the Canadian border. I didn't know what the hell I was doing when I joined the Marine Corps. I didn't know anything. 2003, 2004. It's not like you're Googling and YouTubing all of these Marine Corps boot camp videos that they have out now, which is probably not the best recruiting material. No. Like, I would watch it now and be like, God, that all looks miserable, But it's like, you take a kid like that, you throw him in your scenario, you're sitting here laughing at these drone instructors like, this is it? You can't hit me, and you can't beat me, and you can haze me and make my life hell, but like, it's going to end. And then you take some kid that's just like lived this perfect life and gets there, and it's just like, I mean, some of those kids snap, man. I mean, I'll never forget the first night we spent in the squad bay at Paris Island. The next morning, they're teaching how to count off. You know, you had your little money bag and all that shit. Let's say there's 75 kids in our platoon. I don't remember what it was, but we get there and it's like it ends at 74. And this is literally our very first day in the squad bay, like first morning. You know, I don't know if we were like in an awaiting platoon right before like a day or two, but like we just got everything. We're fresh. Day one, actual boot camp. They're teaching us how to count, and we kept messing it up. Yeah. And you know how that is, man. It takes forever to even get to the last kid. It's just so hard for us to count for some reason. Marines, right? Yeah. So we kept screwing up, and we're in the squad bay for like an hour counting off, you know, a little hygiene kit with your little ID and all that stuff in it. Finally, after like an hour, this recruit at the very end on the opposite side, like steps out into the squad bay and was like, this is like shit in his pants. Drill instructor just swarm him. They're screaming at him and everything. And you're like, oh my God. He's like, this recruit's rack mate left in the middle of the night. And every kid in that squad bay was like, and like turn and look. His rack mate couldn't dipped and left in the middle of the night on Paris Island. They found him like sleeping, like curled up in like this little, like next to a trash can, and where they put the dumpsters and they got the little walls. Apparently they found him like the next day in there, but they shut the whole base down. It was like this huge thing, but I'm sitting there like, we haven't even started yet, and this kid's already gone. I'm like, what does he know that I don't know? Yeah. You know, it's like, but it's hilarious that kids. I mean, everybody grows up in such a different environment, and then you join the Marine Corps and you realize like, okay, like, but we're not in Kansas anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Like. I mean, I was like, I knew kind of what I was getting myself, and I was nervous. Like, I think that's kind of normal, right?
Were you still in communication with your buddy that had joined before you, the one that was talking to the recruiter?
No, no. At that time, no. Like, I regained that communication with him afterwards. Okay. I remember I put a picture on. It was MySpace at the time. Yeah. He called me a fucking boot.
Did he? You were like, damn, like, all right.
Boot, yeah. But he had just gone back from Afghanistan. Okay. And so, but yeah. So I remember, like, but not only that, too, like, you're talking about the drill instructors. I think, too, like, especially you see it more in the infantry, right, once you hit the fleet. But, like, the guy, even like, us recruits, like, if we saw one recruit, like, once you, like, maybe, like, the first or second phase, once you start, like, everybody starts getting used to the routine and seeing how everything is, then you start seeing, okay, if there's one little weak link in the group, like, they will, like, a lot
everybody
of guys
pays.
Everybody pays. So then you start, like, we start learning that, and so if somebody can't hack it, not only are they getting shit from the drill instructors, you start getting shit from your fucking fellow recruits.
Oh, bad.
And I think that because it happened in my platoon. Yeah, we had this one dude. His name was I don't remember. We had two Asian dudes, and one was called Hong. His name was Kong, dude.
No,
so it was Hong Kong. Yeah.
Those were their real names, or were their drill instructor names?
No, that was their names, Hong and Kong.
Oh, I bet you the drill instructors had a field day with that.
Oh, there was this one incident. I remember, because I don't remember, who... One of them was like, he was good to go. He was squared away. Yeah. Right? And then the other one was just a piece of shit. He didn't want to be there. They ended up kicking him out of the platoon. He went to... he went to that little the medical platoon that they had, right? Because they were kicking him out of the Marine Corps. Like, he just did not want to eat. He wouldn't eat duty. I saw him, like, once he left our platoon, we saw him like a month later, and he was skinny.
Really?
Yeah, he had lost some weight. He was in the chow hall, and all he would eat was just like maybe a couple bites of an apple. And he was eating that when we saw that's what he was eating, an apple. And dude, he was so skinny. He was I think he was kind of like on hunger strike.
Yeah.
He just wanted them to kick him out, so that's what they were doing. But I remember when he was still with us, there was one incident where we were all cleaning the squad bay, and the drill instructor he calls out for, I don't remember if it was Hong or Kong, but he yells out for one of them, right? He's like, and then the fucking one of the wrong one ran up to the drill instructor. He's like, recruit Hong reporting his order, sir. And freaking the drill instructor was like, he's like, not you, stupid, your brother.
Dude, drill instructors I gotta have a drill instructor on the podcast because they're the most creative, sadistic human beings on the planet.
Like, I don't know where they come out with that shit,
bro. I want to talk to them and see if it's part of their like school where they just teach them how to be so hilarious. Like
they were good at on the fly too, like
so
improvise,
quick with things, man. And you're just like, But you also have to think they're dealing with just platoon after platoon after platoon of just the dumbest human beings you've ever come in contact with. I mean, you're talking a kid that wants to be a Marine, which we have to be special anyways. And two, it's like the standards. Well, I don't know. I'm speaking when we were in, now who even knows where it's at, but they're just dealing with the biggest retards imaginable. Imagine trying to herd like 70 cats around all day that are just like wandering off and trying to just not get in trouble.
Oh yeah.
I would love to. I don't think I could ever have been a drill instructor. I don't have bearing when it comes to that type of stuff. Like, even at boot camp when they would say things and do shit to people, or to be like, I would laugh sometimes because it would be so funny, or like the shit they would say, I would just like, that was creative.
It's not politically correct.
Oh God, no, dude. I mean, like we had this kid, his name was Square Tree, and they called him Round Bush, and they'd be screaming Round Bush like just to mess with this kid, and it's just like the little creative things that they do is just so hilarious, man. Like, it's just, that was some of the craziest times when you look back at it, and what they do and how, I mean, do they stuffed like 20 of us in a porta-john? I mean, there was kids, we were holding kids, we're climbing in through the door, we were lifting them above us, and we're just stacking them. And like, dude, they just wanted to see how many recruits can we put in a porta shitter. Like, that was like their fun for the day. And
dude, I remember when like the Bulldog drill instructor, right? The one that, he was always a dickhead, right? I remember when how, I don't know how they did that to you guys, but there was like maybe like the first week when we got to our platoon, like the drill instructors wouldn't IT us. They were just trying to get us like used to that routine, right? And then after that one, I remember that day that they were like, okay, this day they're gonna start being able to IT you. That night, man, when I think it wasn't even like, if I'm not mistaken, it was the day, but right when like at 12 o'clock, when it was the
midnight
actual day,
struck,
midnight struck. He came out and he picked like a few recruits that I'm assuming that he didn't like. I mean, I didn't get picked, so that was cool, right? But I remember he
always picked.
He picked like I think it was 4 or 5 recruits, and he took them outside. He started teeing the shit out of them, right? You could hear them at midnight, and you get sweaty, made them roll in the sand and everything, and then he would freaking make them go back to the rack, and he would whisper in their ear. He's like, so this never happened. It was a dream,
shit like that.
Yeah, and so in the morning,
that's the stuff right there.
In the morning when we got up, there's 4 or 5 recruits covered in sand.
Didn't sleep at all that night. They're just terrified.
I remember the drill instructor would come out of the duty hut, and he'd be like, how many recruits out here had dreams? And he'd be like, 4.
Just to confirm.
Yeah.
Just to confirm. Yeah. That's the stuff right there that like nobody will ever know about, and just getting ripped out of your rack in the middle of the night, taken outside, completely hazed till you probably want to just die. And then your drill instructor's like, this was a dream, like, and then you just go to bed laying there staring like at in your bunk bed, like what just happened, and it's like no recruiter ever talks about that when you're signing the dotted line.
No, and like I think a lot of us too, like our platoon, like we had a lot of Latinos,
Oh, okay.
And there was a lot of Latinos, and I remember one of the Bulldog, the same one, we'd be marching in information, right, and because most of the Latinos we're short guys, right? So we're all the way in the back. And I remember when that drill instructor walks by me and some other dude named Cervantes. And he comes up to me, he walks by, he's like, Mendez and Cervantes, the Mexican connection. And just, I'm not even Mexican, though, but I was like, okay. If you knew, you saw my last name, he's like, all right, he's Mexican.
Yeah.
Like, you speak Spanish.
And it's not like you could correct them. No, like, oh, actually.
Then our senior drill instructor would always call me Mendez.
Mendez?
But he knew my last name was Mendez. But he was trying to get under my skin.
Oh, for sure.
So he called me one time. He was giving out mail, and he's like, recruit Mendez. Obviously, there's Mendez on there, right? And he gave me my mail, and he was like, I know your name is not Mendez, right? And I was like, he's like, oh, yes, sir. And he's like, but I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Dude, my rack mate at boot camp, one of my best friends to this day, his last name's Reardon. and the drill instructor called him Riordan, right? And so I remember him correcting once, and he's like, this recruit's name is Riordan, and slaps the just dog shit at him, whack, and he's like, it's Riordan, bitch, get in line. And like I was like, like that was like my intro to like, oh shit, I'm never saying anything, like never correcting him. And it was, they had his number from that day on. I mean, he ended up getting whipped in the face. We were just talking about, you know, those, you know, the earplugs that had the little cable because you don't lose them, and they make you tape them because we're Marines and we'll probably break earmuffs or we'll do something to lose them, whatever. So they made us tape them. Anyways, this is the actual situation was when they corrected him, and he's like, it's Riordan, and just grabs his cover and has those headphones because we're getting ready to go to the rifle range, and dude, they whip him, whack, slap him with his cover. Well, that string, that rubber string, just whips across his face, and I was like because you know he's standing next to me and like kind of like dodged it, like, you know, one of those. But you can't look at your buddy, like you get caught looking, now you're next. And he's standing there and we're standing still, and I'm trying not to laugh, and I could tell like he was just like crunched up, and I knew it hurt him, but I didn't know like how bad. And we unlock our rifles, we do something where we have a second, and he turns to me and he's like, is it bad? And I look at him, and there's these like inch thick welts, the biggest. It looked like you got hit with a switch, like off of a tree. Just these giant welts that went all the way around his neck and wrapped. And dude, it was the funniest shit. I was like, oh, and he's like, is it bad? Is it bad? He's like trying to feel it. You could just, I mean, dude, it was gnarly. All because they just called him they just fucked up his last name constantly, and he finally corrected him. And man, they whipped the shit out of him. And that's when I was like, I'm not saying nothing. Like, dude, the drill instructors, they're sadistic, man. The games that they play and like how.
No joke.
You know what I learned afterward is, I don't know how about you, but they would march us to the PX and have us buy like cases of razor blades and all that. Those dudes were taking all that shit home. Like, if you think about it, I don't know how you guys were. We had sea bags in this locked closet full
they tell you what to buy.
Yeah, and they force you to buy all this shit, and you never use. And then they're taking all the Mach 3 razors home that I'm spending all my freaking my boot camp money on. Yeah, they're like, where did it all go? Because I remember in the locker, legit sea bags full and closed with a lock on them. They put, you know how they have the little metal tab. Was all the razors, the
I think you are right there. Yeah. And they would say it was for a community.
Yeah, it was the community, but we never got to use it. You got like one razor the whole time that you're shaving with it, and then you graduate boot camp and you don't think about it. I was like, where'd all my shit go? You know, those drill instructors got garages, just they're slinging that shit still probably. Dude,
I remember one of the drill instructors, I don't think it was my drill instructor, but it was because I was there during during the Marine Corps birthday. So we had to get babysitted by some other drill instructor. Right? And I remember that dude was drinking in a duty hut, man. Because I was a little. It was the one that would go in and clean.
The house mouse.
The house mouse.
You were the house mouse. I could. Yeah, it's always the littlest dude. I got with
some French fries sometimes.
Dude, one of my best friends. He was our house mouse. We were all still. There was 4 of us in a platoon together. But he would tell us. They would give him food. Yeah. He'd smoke their cigarette butts out of their because they had I guess their office had a back door that went out onto like the back of the barracks. We were the 3rd deck, and dude, he said he'd sit there like when that little shit. Yeah, let me hear the house mouse stories. You guys got all the info too.
I knew he was drinking because I would clean out the trash can.
Yeah.
And so I remember he was drinking a tall. He had 2 tall cans, and then he would also like in the middle of the night you'd hear like fucking like girls stilettos like tuk, 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 right, and everybody would look, and it was some chick because she had stilettos, but he'd throw like a bed sheet over
like a ghost walking.
Yeah, and then she would walk.
Wait, was there? You couldn't sneak them in? Like she was walking into your squad bay?
Yeah, she was.
No, this dude's sneaking chicks into your squad bay. Yeah. That's hilarious.
Yeah, and fucking there was and then there was my actual. That was, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was the babysitting drill instructor, but whatever. There was one of our other drill instructors, the J Dog. He would show us pictures of his girlfriend's titties and stuff.
Dude, no, that was a different drill instructors from us, man.
And he was like, what do you think? And I remember I was just almost like, I'm more of an ass guy, sir. And he was just chuckling. He's like, whatever, dude. But I remember at the end when we graduated, that fucker, he hated us because he was very competitive.
Okay.
And so he wanted us to win drill.
Oh, yeah.
And so I remember when we didn't win final drill. We won initial drill, but we didn't win final drill.
Yeah.
He was mad, and I remember it was me and the other recruit. I think his name was Blankart. But he was like, he asked him, he's like, hey, Blankart, recruit Blankart. He's like, are you flying home? And he's like, yes, sir. This recruit is flying home, sir. And I was like, well, I hope your plane fucking crashes and fucking die. And I was like, damn, dude. And he asked me, he was like, how about you, Mendez? And I was like,
nope.
I was like, no, sir. He's like, so how are you getting home? And I was like, this recruit is driving home, sir. He's like, well, I hope your fucking wheel pops and you fucking go crash and you fucking
This is
die.
like as you're graduating?
Yeah, I was like, dude, he didn't even like stay. Once we graduated, he just he bounced.
Really?
The shooting drill instructor and the Bulldog were the only ones that congratulated us. He hated us really bad.
Some guys I feel absolutely 100% hate recruits. Like being a drill engineer, they don't want to be there, and they just take it. They take all of the hate and discontent that they have in their body out on recruits. It is hilarious. Like, I mean, it gets you ready for what's about to happen, you know, and especially you being a grunt. I mean, it doesn't get any easier after boot camp. It probably gets worse because once you get to SOI and
SOI too, even then, like we just got. Like, if you're as a grunt, like, you get treated like shit until you do your first deployment.
Yeah. And for sure. And you're getting treated like shit until pretty much you get back.
Yeah.
And then once you step foot back on U.S. soil, you're like, okay, you've done your...
Yeah.
You're not salty, but you're not a boot anymore.
You're not a boot no more.
Yeah.
But I remember, so even like, I remember this one drill instructor. He was I think he must have been like Cuban or something.
Okay.
Really thick accent.
Which those dudes are the worst ones because they're screaming at you and you can't understand
shit.
A damn word they're saying. They got like they're just mumbling something in some messed up fucking accent, and you get screamed at.
It was a recon ring too.
Oh yeah, the bubbles are
and shit. Yeah. But I mean, he would like when there was this one time when, you know, in the middle of the night the recruit that's doing Firewatch, he has to call out his freaking greeting of the day and all that, right? And so this dude, he was Hispanic, he was Mexican. So he had a little bit of a thick accent too, his recruit. And so he was trying to say his, the greeting of the day and the whole little spill, right? And it was the Cuban drill instructor and then the Bulldog. They were both walking in. And the Bulldog was just getting on him. He's like telling him, he's like, nope, say it again. He's like, nope, say it again. And he's like, don't worry. He's like, go ahead and say in Spanish. He's a drill instructor Patino. He will translate for me. Dude, it was fucking hilarious. And so then that drill instructor, that Cuban one, he ended up becoming the staff sergeant. The rest of them were all sergeants. So he had to bounce. He had to go to another platoon. And so when he left, and then me and it was me again, the other Latino named Cervantes, and some other Hispanic dude. We were all walking to the PX, you know, and you have to walk in formation and all that, right? So we're going to the PX, and then we ran into him, the Cuban, that Cuban drill instructor. He stops us, and he's like, because we said the greeting of the day, and he's like, no, louder, you know. And then we tried to say louder. He's like, louder. And he's like, open your mouth. And then he said it to us in Spanish. He's like, abre la boca. It was so, dude, I wanted to laugh so hard.
I bet, bro.
Because he knew we spoke Spanish, so he said it to us in Spanish. It was so, I don't know, it was just so funny at that moment. I wanted to laugh so hard.
But you know if you do. And like, dude, when drill instructors, for anybody listening, like, you can't just talk to a drill instructor, especially if they're in their office. You have to give them a proper greeting of the day. And at least in Paris Island, we had there was a hand painted on the concrete wall, and you had to stand in this little square box, and you had to slap 3 times and then go through your spiel. This recruit, marshal, whatever, right? Request permission to speak to senior Jones, whatever it was. I mean, I'm probably sure that was it. I don't even, that just came back. But
like, you just got out of boot camp.
Yeah, right. But I'll never forget when I had to do it. Like, you're nervous as hell because if you screw up, they made me slap that wall so hard. Can't hear you. dude, and you're just slapping that hand painted on the wall. I remember my hand was on fire. It was burning so bad. Then when the drill instructor finally came out for what I needed him, I couldn't even pay it. Like, I thought my whole hand was like a blister because I was slapping it so hard off that concrete wall, dude. And they just hazed the absolute dog shit. I mean, I never even got I don't even think I remember them answering anything. And so it was crazy, dude. That was like the wildest time. It's just trying. And then you're so scared as a kid. Like, you don't even know what to do. And you're trying to, and you say, I, you lived your whole life saying I, and then you go to boot camp and you say I, like, and then you have like 15 drill instructors just in your face screaming like no, and you're just like, oh, okay, like, yeah, I don't need shit. I'm just gonna stay here.
You learn quick though. I mean,
you learn real quick.
I remember there's one good story that I still remember very well. It was one of my buddies named Mendez. He's a thicker boy, right? We all call him Jimmy. Mm-hmm. But I mean, he was a big boy, and but so he was thick, and then his rack mate was a skinny ass white boy. And I remember, like, we were all looking for the geek strap. Remember?
The glow strap.
Yeah. So we were all looking for it. We all pulled it out of our Foot Lockers, and we had to hold it up in front of us, right? Yep. And my boy Jimmy was looking for it. He was looking for it, and he couldn't find it. I don't know what he did with it, but he couldn't find it. And his rackmate was just standing right next to him like this, right? And so the drill instructor comes over. He's like, "Oh, so you want to be a buddy fucker, right? So you want to be a buddy fucker?" He's like, "Okay." So he told him stand on his Foot Locker, point at your rackmate with my boy Jimmy, right? And he's like, and start yelling, "Fuck you, fat ass." So for like, I don't know, like 10, 15 minutes while he was looking for
Kids just screaming this?
Yeah, screaming, "Fuck you, fat ass. Fuck you, fat ass."
Bro.
Oh, dude. But we were all there. I was, dude. And the worst thing I think, too, is because you're trying to, like, hold it in. I think this is like third phase.
Third phase, yeah.
Yeah, so by that time, we're already used to getting yelled at.
Yeah. It's a game at this point.
Yeah, it's a game.
You've learned to play it.
Exactly. And so there was, like, by third phase, I just remember having, like, it wasn't fun, but it was hilarious. The things the drill instructors would do.
It's not fun at the time, but like going back through and you talk to those dudes, I mean, it's absolutely hilarious afterward of like what goes on and, just the different creative ideas they come up with just to mess with you. And it's just like, oh, okay. All right. Like, like when I realized when I was like my aha moment at boot camp was when I was getting hazed on the quarterdeck. Like, I didn't even know, and nobody knows this. Like, I hope I could have my boy on my rackmate one day. I never learned how to clean a rifle in boot camp. I'm probably one of the only Marines that never. I was their poster boy for just absolutely getting hazed all day, every day. So when they would prepare for rifle maintenance, my job was to just go onto the quarterdeck. I'd take my blouse off and just prepare to get hazed. Right, I'm standing there, and while everybody's by the numbers, pulling the wall locker or their foot locker out, unlocking it. And so, but my rack mate would pull his out, then he would pull mine. He was doing everything. He had to do everything twice. Mm-hmm. And I'm standing on the quarterdeck. So like as they would start cleaning rifles, I would just either haze myself or another drill instructor would haze me the whole entire rifle maintenance. So like there would be times where I'd be like, yo, dude, like, how do I take this apart? And he'd be like, doing it for me. He knew my combos because he would have to undo my rifle off the rack. Like, it was crazy. And so when I realized, like, no matter what we do, we're done. One day I was doing push-ups and the drill instructor looked back, and when he would turn his back, I'd be like half-ass pushing up, and he caught me, turned around really quick, and he grabbed his cover and like Jason or 007, the Asian that chucked
it at you
and whipped his freaking cover at me, and dude, it hit me dead in the top of my head, which I thought he split my skull open. It like those things were so solid. It falls right in front of me, and inside of his cover, on the inside, he had a piece of paper, and it was like 0600, whatever the times were. I don't remember the times, but I remember the time. It was like, wake up the hose, and it was like 0615, slay the hose, 0645, walk the hose to chow, like 07, like, dude, he had the whole day, and it had like slay the, and I'm never, he left it right there, and he's hazing me, and I'm reading this thing like slay the hose. I'm like, we're getting hazed regardless of whatever we do, they're going to find something. And at that point, I was like, this is just a huge game, and I have to play it. And that I got hazed so much that they would take me every new week, a new platoon or the new battalion would pick up new, recruits into the next platoon. I was the demonstration recruit that they would march all over Paris Island and haze all 3 decks, and I'd go to lead series and I'd go to follow series. So every time a new platoon or a new company picked up, I would have to go and demonstrate the quarter deck and how they got haze on all 6 platoons every fucking time.
Why did they single you out though to get haze so much? What did you do?
A lot. Like, I would eyeball drill instructors. Like, when they walked by, we had this little drill instructor, Staff Sergeant Barnes. I'll never forget him, dude. He was the tiniest little dude I've ever met in my life. And he had these giant chiclet teeth and this little black guy. And he'd walk by me, and I'd be looking down at him like, I'd just be looking at him like, I'll fuck you up. You know, like one of those, you know, it's just an asshole. And he would look at me really quick, and I'd look up, and he'd be like, you fucking, he would do the, and I'd have to go down to his level, and you know, so he would scream in my ear, but I'd have to bend down because he was like chest level, so he'd make me come down to his height. He'd be like, "You fucking eyeballing me, Marshall," and I'd be like, "Yes, sir." He'd be like, "Good, come with me," and I'd be like, "Why didn't I just say no?" You know, like, no, I wasn't. But and then they knew I would answer every time. Yeah, man, I was just, dude. We picked up a new drill instructor like halfway through. In day 1, he was like reading off, and he's like, "Marshall, Marshall, Marshall," and like instant from like they had to have told him like, recruit Marshall's a turd. Like, we can't break him. I think also that was another thing. Like, they could not break me. Like, dude, I was supposed to be going off playing football. Like, I mean, I was in the best shape of my life. Like, I it wasn't like I got better at boot camp. I actually was like losing weight. Like,
because were you taller than the rest of the recruits?
I was like in the first. I was the first. Yeah, so I was one of the tallest in our platoon. There was a couple dudes that were taller than me, but there was a huge chunk of us that were all kind of the same height. But yeah, they had my number, man, from day 1. And so like, I was the demonstration kid to get haze, like, and so like, but I would be there for hours. Where I was when I left boot camp, dude, I could have the most incredible shape of my life, because all day, every day, like, I didn't learn, like, and I'm not kidding. I'll have my buddy on here. I didn't learn how to clean and disassemble a rifle till I got to MCT after boot camp. That's when I had to learn everything, because I never cleaned my rifle at boot camp.
I had a buddy who was a drill instructor, and he told me once that he when I first met him, he told me that he always picked the tallest recruit in his platoon. He'd always pick him. He was a short dude. And he always picked the tallest dude, and he's like, it never failed. I always broke him.
Yeah.
I always broke the
I'm sure. Dude, I was just so fit, and, you know, so I wasn't like going to like Marine Corps boot camp. That's what they were trying to do to you. Oh, 100%. And I'd be up there for hours, dude. Hours. I would spend hours where like until like I could not physically push myself anymore, but I still like would not. You know, you won. I'd get up and continue on the day, and like that was it. But yeah, dude, they put me on fire watch every night, 0-0 fire watch till midnight, which is the worst one, like that 12 to 1, because you screw your whole, you don't get a full night's sleep, and then you try to go back to sleep. So like, to me, that was the worst shift. So every night the scribe drill instructor would walk out, "Scribe," and be like, "Yes, sir." And he'd run out and be like, "Marshall, 0-0," and I'd be like, fuck, man, like every time. And like, so at boot camp, I never got one night full sleep. I had fire watch every single night. Every night, 0-0 fire watch. Scribe. We'd be the Crucible. Yeah. We're getting ready to graduate. We're all sleeping and like, this bullshit. We're almost done. Scribe in the dark. "Yes, sir." "Marshall, 0." And I'm sitting against a tree like, what the fuck? This dude, like, let me just have one night off. Yeah. Never. No. The whole, dude, I made boot camp absolutely miserable for myself. Like, if I would have just played, like, even though I knew it was a game, I was like, I can play this game too. Like, it's just who I was. And like, I was not going to change no matter what they did. I had to swim against the flow for everything. Like, and so I paid for it, 100% paid for it. But, you know, it all made a whole bunch of hilarious stories. But at the same time, like, I was the fastest in the battalion. Yeah. So whenever we do like PTs and we'd compete against other platoons, I always won that for our platoon. So like, I had that. So like, if we were doing like some bullshit runs, since I was the fastest runner in our battalion, like, I always got to stay back and do watch. Yeah. So there was some little perks of being really, like, I did the most pull-ups. Yeah. Like, I was super fit.
They probably liked you.
I think they did, you know, but it was at the same time, like, we're going to fuck with this kid because I'm sure they probably thought I was a squad leader for a bit until I got fired and over some dumb shit. And, but yeah, I mean, like, I was like ready, you know, like that perfect Marine, even though I didn't know what I was doing. I was physically fit from sports, not like, cause I was training to be a Marine. I just joined the Marine Corps. I was like, let's do this, you know. Then I show up and it was just all hell. So, but after boot camp, you got MC. So you joined wanting to be a grunt. Yeah. Okay. So you knew that you didn't go open contract or anything?
No,
or
I didn't really know. Like I said, when I joined the Marine Corps, when I was going to join, I didn't really know nothing about the military. Yeah. And so like I
don't think anybody did in that whole era. Everybody I've talked to, nobody really knew No one knew what we were getting ourselves into, which is hilarious. There's a freaking war going on.
Right.
And then we're just blindly just.
I don't think about it. I'm like, I didn't know what really attracted me to that job specifically.
Yeah.
I just remember that because dude, I was never good at school. High school, I had nothing but bad grades. I got kicked out of my high school twice, and so I ended up going to something called a continuation school. That. So I graduated from a continuation school, but at the only reason I was able to join the Marine Corps was because they told me you have to graduate high school in order to join, right? So I remember doing these packets to catch up on all my credits and stuff like that, so I can finally graduate. But I don't, I never paid attention to school.
No,
I couldn't do math.
Yep.
I wrote like fucking an idiot. I just couldn't write. I could barely read, and so I remember
perfect for the Marine Corps.
Exactly.
Perfect Marine. They're like, sign here, son.
Yeah, right. For sure. But no, so you take the ASVAB, right?
Yep.
And I remember, I think they give you. Well, they didn't do that for me, but they're supposed to give you a list of jobs that you can do based off your ASVAB score. And so I remember when my recruiter got my score test back, or whatever, the test score back, he just looked at it and he's like, "You can do infantry. It's the best job in the Marine Corps."
Only one on the paper.
Yeah. I believe so, because he didn't talk to me about any other job. He
that was it.
Made the infantry sound like it was the best job in the Marine Corps, which
it is. It is.
I'm proud of it.
I was not a grunt, but is definitely besides being like a jet pilot or something. What else would you? If I would have known more, I would have definitely have gone infantry instead of tracks. But anyways, you're 100% right.
Yeah, and so and I was like, well, what do they do? I didn't really know. And I remember one of the drone soldiers, "Oh, dude, it's so badass. Like, you get to go and train, you get to shoot guns, you get to kick down
machine
doors,
guns, throw grenades."
Dude. And the guy was like, my recruiter was an LAV dude.
Mm-hmm.
So which is cool, right? But I was like, damn, okay, that's badass. Now that's what I want to do. I want to be infantry. And they just sold it on me, dude. And so yeah, like I said, I didn't really know, and I wasn't right when I was joining the Marine Corps, that wasn't my number one choice. I just really didn't know what I was gonna do.
Yep.
And I just kind of landed in that position of joining the infantry. But yeah, and so yeah, that's how I ended up as a grunt. I had a real choice,
It was your only option.
It was kind of my only option, which is. I guess I'm proud of it, and I'm like, dude, I think these things happen for a reason.
For sure, man. 100%. 100%.
Because I learned so much going through it. And here's another thing, a lot of people think that grunts are stupid and that it's a very easy job. It's not only is it physically demanding, it's there's a lot of classes and a lot of courses, a lot of training that we had to go through just to I was fortunate that when I got to train with my unit for almost a year before we went to country.
Oh, that is nice.
I was so by the time we got to country, we
tight.
Understood we understood how the game. We understood what we were supposed to do.
Yep.
So it wasn't I knew a lot of guys that as soon as they got hit the fleet, 3 months later, they're out there.
Yeah, dude. I know guys that literally they graduated their school early because they needed bodies to fill platoons, and they were getting pulled from their training school to go and deploy. Could you imagine being some 18-year-old kid, got out of boot camp, and you didn't even learn your whole entire your MOS. You haven't learned your job yet, and all of a sudden you're like, hey, here's your vehicle, here's your weapon. You're going to Iraq next week.
Yeah,
and that's the Marine Corps though.
I even so then we going to SOI, and SOI,
which SOI is School of Infantry for everybody listening. Right. So if you go as an infantry Marine, you go boot camp, and then you go straight SOI, correct?
Correct.
And then so that's where you're learning how to be a grunt.
Yeah. But before I got to SOI, I was because I lived in Riverside. So it was nice.
Did you get to go home all the time? God, we had a couple of you in our platoon, and they'd come back with we had a Mexican kid in our platoon, a Hispanic kid, and he'd come back with like his mom would cook him like the soups and do you come back with carne asada, like all this shit. I'm like, oh God, like you just get to go home.
I'd take like my family like knows a lot of my most of my homeboys like that was within the Marine Corps were from Southern California. A lot of them, like some of them from San Diego, LA. I went from Rialto, and so like but I mean some of my boys like that were from other states, like they met my family. One of my really good friends who I met, because right before SOI, we were in something called guard. Do you remember that?
So you did like camp area guard. Yeah.
So we had to I was there for a month, and then during that time I became really good friends with he's now part of my family because he married my cousin.
Really?
Yeah, his name is Andrew Cordova.
Really?
Shout out to him if he sees this. But so I met him through there, and I remember I was telling him, oh man, hey dog, as soon as we get out of here, we're gonna go meet some girls. I'm gonna take you out. Oh, it's gonna be so much fun because we had to be there. We couldn't leave the base. And so, but once we went to SOI, he went to first platoon, and I was the second. I took him out for the weekend, and we went to one of my brother's birthday parties. And he met my cousin there, and after that, we never hung out again, dog.
No shit.
My cousin,
no, well, that's good at least.
Dude, it's good. Like they have 3 beautiful girls, and
so it's all because of you.
Yeah, because I always tell the daughters
that
like,
shit happens
dude,
so
it happens
much.
A lot.
You never bring Marines back around your sisters, moms. Like, dude, you hear so, especially in infantry units, man. Like,
no, it's like, but like,
you're asking for it. Yeah. You're asking for it.
But they're still together. So
that's
still
good.
Married,
that's great.
And he's like I'm really close with him.
Yeah,
especially because he went to Afghanistan during the same time that I went to Iraq, and 2 months after I got injured, he got injured.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he got hit. I think it was a mortar.
Okay.
But one of his buddies in his Humvee ended up burning alive.
Damn.
So like, he went through a lot of shit over there too, and so like, it's nice to have somebody in my family who
can relate
to me
for sure,
100%.
So after SOI, which is you're just a straight 0331.
03, no, it was 0311.
Oh, sorry, 0311. What's the 0330? There isn't an 03.
Yeah, it's
mortars.
It's 41. Machine gunners are 31.
So at SOI, that's when they're breaking you into job specifics, correct? Like you're going to learn to be a mortarman, you're going to learn to be a machine gunner, tow gunner, whatever.
You still get treated like shit, by instructors a little bit, but they're more.
You're learning.
You're learning. So they're easy on you, and then you get treated like a Marine. If you fuck up, hey, like what the fuck, Marine, right?
Yeah.
But it's more lenient. You get liberty on the weekends. So
get to go out in town and feel like a real human being.
Yeah, exactly.
And walk around Oceanside.
Cool. It was nice, and then especially you got we're all gonna be grunts, so we're all proud of being SOI. Yeah. I was with Bravo Company, and that time, Bravo Company they were using us as guinea pigs because they couldn't hump like the sappy plates at that time. Like before us, they didn't have they couldn't like hump the sappy plates, so when they started using us to see if we could do all the hikes and we go out climbing up those mountains out in Camp Pendleton. They call them hills. They look like mountains. And
they say a hill, but you climb that son of a bitch.
Yeah, I think SOI wasn't like mentally demanding like boot camp. It was definitely a lot more physical because they have to get you ready to go out.
What do you mean that they were testing out the sappy plates, like the new body armor?
Yeah, the sappy plates like these two, because when you're in SOI, you train. I don't think we were wearing them in our flak jackets. I don't remember, but like all the Marines before like Bravo Company, when I was there, they didn't hike with their sappy plates in their bags because it's extra weight. They're heavy, right? And so they used us guinea pigs to see if we were able to do it for some reason. God. And so, but it didn't really
wasn't that bad?
It wasn't that bad. Yeah, everybody was able to do it. And so Bravo Company, I remember we were all like felt like kind of arrogant compared to all the rest of the
because you're the first ones doing it
to do it and stuff like that. So I mean, SOI, it was cool. That's where I met the majority of my buddies that I went to 2-7 with.
Oh, so that makes it so much better too. When you're meeting guys and you start building these bonds with in your platoons, you start finding guys that you can relate to or similar to. And then when you find out like hey, this is our units, you know, when that time comes, which is kind of nerve-wracking too, if you think about it, like, fuck, this is the future of my Marine Corps, you know, like where I'm going to go, and you're not going to see buddies again.
No.
So it's cool to know that you're all going to the same unit. So
there was only like a few of them that didn't end up going with us to 27, but in my platoon, the majority of the platoon went to 27.
Where's 27 out of?
In 29 Palms, California. Yeah.
Okay, so
the armpit of the Marine Corps bases, man. The beach with no fucking water, dog.
The rumor is that the Marine Corps bought 29 Palms. I would love to look up the history if anybody knows if this is facts or not. I don't know if you've ever heard this, that the Marine Corps bought all of the land, like it was like pennies to an acre from the Army, because the Army deemed 29 Palms inhabitable and weren't supposed to train there. And I guess this is what we've always been told, that the Marine Corps ended up buying 29 Palms from the Army and turned it into what it is today.
29 Palms is back then.
It's a special place, bro.
Now, like, I drove back there for the 75th anniversary of 27 unit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and so they started, you know, building a little bit more houses. So they got a dealership there. It was really nice.
So it actually looks like a real town.
Kind of, yeah, but that's when you're entering, or like once you like go over, like cross through these hills once you go into 29 Palms Highway. But there's, you know, still from there, it's still a distance to get to to the base. But yeah, and so 29 Palms, man, it was fucking hot. And I remember they always would say, like, there's only, like, we talk about how it's inhabitable. They would say there's only 3 people that live out here in 29 Palms. Like Marines, retired Marines, and desert Yetis.
Desert Yetis, I remember that. And that's a thing, bro. Desert Yetis.
Yeah. Because the truck drivers pass through that highway a lot, so they're like in those truck stops, the gas stations. You'll see them there. There's this rundown hotel down. Oh, dude, that place is just raunchy, man.
There are some creatures, and I'm a firm believer, and I'll die on this hill. Like people like that live in desert environment, like true. I think they're all fried, because like you go out into the town there in the community, and it's just the strangest people. And then you add the Marine aspect to it, and they obviously hate everybody that's on that base. You know, the locals there.
Yeah.
29 Palms.
I think that there's like there was the only one bar there. I never went, but I heard a lot of stories. A lot of the guys that would go in there and drink.
Wasn't it called like Devil Dog Bar or something? The Stumps. That's
the nickname of 29 Palms. The Stumps.
Yeah, Stumps.
I don't know if it's still there, but the Stumps, man. And dude, I knew a lot of Marines that would just get in there, go in there, and there was like this what should we call these Samoan gangs. Oh yeah. And they would, if they saw that you were a Marine in there, if you were by yourself, they always say, "Don't go to the Stumps alone." Man.
Yes.
You jump. I knew this one Marine that got his tooth knocked out when he was just coming out of the restroom. Some dude just hit him in the mouth, knocked his tooth out, dude. For some reason, man.
But tell me that's not like a every weekend thing where somebody comes back with like a swollen face, like a broken arm, tooth missing, like, fuck, craziest fight of our life. You're like, damn, should have gone, you know?
Right?
Dude, the Samoans, I feel like the Samoans are, like, there should be briefs as a Marine, because everywhere we go, I mean, we're surrounded for some reason by, you know, the Samoan culture. Like, when I was living on Pendleton, when I was out in town in Vista, all my neighbors were Samoan, dude. And, like, I had learned really early, like, you do not mess with those people. Giant human beings, and they drink a lot, and these guys were always fighting. And like, dude, so when I moved into my apartments and realized all of my neighbors were Samoan, like, I went and bought them all cases of beer, had a big barbecue, and just like tried to get in. Oh, dude,
in Utah, there's like, you know, the Samoans, Polynesians, man. They're really cool people.
Yeah,
my
just
mom's
don't fuck with them.
I think he's Samoan. Don't fuck with them. They're big boys.
Leave them
They're
alone.
all big, dude.
Just leave them alone. Like, get them a beer and get out of the way.
Get out of the way.
They were definitely wreaked havoc out in 29 Palms. 100%. So what the hell do you do as a boot-ass Marine in 29 Palms? You don't have, I mean, did you have a car at this point? Or, so you're just stuck frying in the desert.
I would hitch rides with the other Marine buddies. Like, they would give me rides to the river side every weekend. I had one of my buddies named, he actually got injured with me, Mariquin. But he would always give me a ride. He had this little old school Toyota. He lived in L.A. And so he would drive to L.A. every weekend, and he would drop me off right there in Riverside. So he would give me a ride. But if I couldn't get a ride, I was stuck there in 29 Palms. Sometimes like I'd have my cousin pick me up, but then would have to be on like on a Saturday because she worked on Friday. So And usually I didn't like doing that because then I missed Friday, you know. So I was like, I might as well not pick me up.
Yeah,
it's not worth it. The next day, it's not worth it.
Literally go home for a Saturday, then have to come back.
Yeah. And so, dude, it was just like, but I remember like during the week though, you know, we would train, and at night it was just a complete fucking shit show in those barracks, man. And we would just drink, dude. That's all we did.
That's all there's to do out there.
All there was, just train and drink, right? So I'd go to the gym, and I had my buddy. He was from Rialto. His name was Nava. I was like really close with that fool, right? So what we would do is we would go to the gym, fucking work out, and then and after that we'd go to the PX and buy. Remember that old English? My buddy, he's pretty fucking hood, and that's what he
feel like I
drink.
take you for a Mickey's guy, the 40s.
I used to drink Mickey's, but then we went to, I don't remember if PX had Mickey's, but they had Old English, that's for sure. And so me and my buddy, that's what we would do. We'd go and buy like two Old Englishes, and we just drink them every night, just getting hammered.
Yep.
And that's, we would just party in there, and or like if I wasn't drinking, then it would be the seniors getting drunk. And then I'm hiding in my room because this was like more in the beginning too, when we first got there, and they had just got back from Iraq.
Oh, the worst.
Dude, they would haze the shit out of us.
The worst.
I mean, they fucked with me a little bit, but not as much as they did to other certain Marines, right? We had one of my roommates who, unfortunately, he was, I guess you could say, like, he was a little soft, right?
Okay.
And so they picked up on that.
Yeah.
And so they would take him into the restroom. You know how those barracks, I don't know how the other barracks are in other Marine Corps bases, but the restroom was connected to the room next door.
Oh no, we didn't have Jack and Jill's, we had our own.
So that's how ours were. That was the old school ones. And I remember they would put him in that restroom, and they just start hazing him. They turn the hot water on, start hazing him, and then they would beat him up. And like, yeah, and then they would put him back to his. I felt bad for him, right? Felt really bad for him. But again, like, you know, even he grew up in a very good Christian family.
Yeah.
So he had no idea. He had no idea. But like, he manned up and he just took the beatings but learned his knowledge, and eventually they left him alone, and he ended up going to Iraq and Afghanistan.
That's the worst scenario. We had the same exact situation when we got to the fleet. The whole battalion was deployed. So when we got to the fleet, all that was left were the broke dicks and the short timers that couldn't deploy, which I didn't know. Like, I wasn't putting the pieces together. I was like, oh, this is the Marine Corps. You know, I was 18 years old. And we had like, I want to say like probably like 4 or 5 months of just like the U.S. because the war just kicked off. Yeah. So USO is on the beach and on Del Mar, like performing. There's all these crazy singers and artists coming, and Snoop Dogg's down there. You know, so we're going to concerts every night, and all the short timers and broke dicks, they're just like providing all of us with alcohol. And so we have no supervision. We were like feral, like straight, a whole platoon of boots, just feral, just being, our leadership were short timers then like that, or drug pops that didn't want to deploy. So like the biggest turds of the battalion that stayed behind, those were our seniors. Like that's who was in charge of us. Yeah. So naturally, like that's who we start becoming. Yeah. Like we're just like, fuck, like we walked around like, dude, I was a boot ass Marine with like a low reg haircut. Like I, you know, like doesn't happen because all my seniors all had like full head of hair, like. So we didn't know. I'm calling my buddies like, dude, join the Marine Corps. It's the greatest. We party every night. Women every night. Beach. We're on the beach partying. Like, it was just the greatest time of my life. Wow. And then the battalion Bravo company came back, and all hell broke loose because now you have all these war dogs, these war fighters. Yeah. That just got their asses handed to them overseas. I mean, they had like a V-bid drive into one of their formations and kill like half the platoon, like a huge chunk of. We didn't know this. We're just a bunch of kids that are just like, I'm a Marine now. Like we're all privates and PFCs, and so it came back, and dude, oh my God, it was horrible.
They had a field day with you.
Horrible, bro. Like, I mean, we had secret knocks. I mean, we had like secret code talk that because these guys. I mean, dude, it was you never answered your door after a certain time, like unless they had the secret knock, and like it was bad because like they came back, and I look back on it now, but like these dudes all just went through hell. They came back from their deployment thinking they're gonna have some time off. They got detached from that deployment and attached to our platoon within like a month, and just got given like 60 belligerent, salty privates that have been in the fleet for like 6 months, just running amok with zero supervision, and now like that's their platoon. Yeah. It was our life was beyond hell, dude. It was horrible. And they ended up like, after we got back from that deployment, they like sat us down. We're like, hey guys, like, we're sorry. Like, we had horrible post-traumatic stress. We were all juiced out of our mind. We didn't know how to cope with anything. Like, you guys were a bunch of belligerent assholes and
sleep deprived on top.
And they're like, we just did what we were told to do, and it was horrible. But yeah, it's how it is, man. Like, if you're a boot in the Marine Corps, like in those days, you did not want to get on anybody's radar.
No, that's exactly like, because like when I got to 2-7, all my seniors, they were like, they were either 1, 2, 3 deployments in. And so these guys were fucking mean,
dude, just evil.
And yeah, they were just pissed off at the world.
Oh, they hated. That's the best way to put it.
That died.
Lost guys, and now they're dealing with a freaking 19-year-old little bam running around, just running around like, fuck it, I know what I'm doing.
I can do what I want.
I get it.
Yeah,
I get why. I get now, it now.
I understand,
Now I get it. Because we eventually became those guys. But and then you get the new guys. You're just like, okay, it's just a cycle of life in the military. But yeah, it's crazy.
As soon as formation when it got really bad, like the first couple months, maybe I would say like first 6 months, 4 to 6 months, it sucked. It sucked really bad. And we were in the old barracks, so like you couldn't lock the doors. Yeah. Because they would just, all you had to do was just push it in.
Every single barracks door, except for our barracks that we lived in, but like I'd say 90% of the barracks in the Marine Corps, you just pop doors open because they've been kicked in so many times.
Exactly.
Drunken, retarded nights, like just dudes screwing around, and they fix it just enough to shut your door.
Yeah, you shut your door. But eventually we ended up, that was the old barracks, and then they put us in new barracks, and they were just nicer barracks, and the doors, I think we had keys to get in, so it was nice. But I remember, dude, Thursdays were probably the worst. Because
for field days? Dude.
And the
dreaded Thursdays. You woke up on a Thursday morning, your whole day sucked. Yeah. I'd say for the first year of my life in the Marine Corps, Thursdays were absolutely hell.
It fucking sucked, and especially our seniors after the day, after formation at 1600, they'd go buy beer, start drinking, and they'd get hammered drunk, and we were cleaning our rooms and stuff like that. So
when they come back,
remember the Chinese field day?
Bro, what floor were you on?
I was there was only 2 floors there, so I was on the second floor.
Okay. Yeah, same. We were on the top deck, which made... So anybody listening, Chinese field day for the older Marines, Chinese field day is when you take everything out of your room. We had a basketball court right there, so we would take everything out of our rooms. I'm talking wall lockers, beds, everything that wasn't bolted, welded, glued came out of your room, and you had to reassemble our rooms on the basketball courts by how exactly they were set up in the barracks rooms.
You had to clean everything inside.
By the number. One square tile by the number. And we would be doing this till 2 or 3 in the morning, just scrubbing.
We'd have to put everything back in. Then the senior drill instructor, senior Marine would come in. Inspect it, and I mean they would go through every little crevice in the room, and if they find any little piece of dust, anything, they're like, nope, do it again. Take everything out.
I mean, we would set up our rooms. I think there was one night where we set up our rooms 3-4 times, putting them all the way back. I'm talking beds made, corners tucked. Yeah. Okay, we're in, and somebody would fail. Do it again, and you're just like, there was dudes that were just flipping their wall lockers over the third deck and just crashing them just so we would stop. Like, it was horrible. It got so bad at one point, we ended up getting smart. This is who we were as a platoon. We were the whole platoon was belligerent. As soon as it would hit like midnight, we knew there was like we didn't know this as a young Marine, that there's technically like a sound ordinance on base that you have to shut everything down. And I want to say it was midnight. Well, once we figured this out, somebody did, not me. We had the OOD, the duty, that's 21 area OOD, officer of the day or whatever. Whatever. We all had his number in our phones at this point on speed dial. So as soon as we would like be getting hazed and somebody would run in a room, you'd pull your phone out and like get it ready, and you throw it on the bed and run back down so you made time. Then when your roommate would go in, we would call the OOD, the front desk at the duty shack, and be like, hey, I'm trying to sleep. These motherfuckers above me have been field daying all night. Like, shut this shit down. And then that's all it would take. So once we figured this out, dude, 10 minutes later, you see the white van come cruising up. The duty would get out with his stupid little badge on. And come walking up and like, hey, they'd see you talking to the seniors, and they'd all be like, nodding, and we'd all be watching, and they'd turn around and be like, wrap this fucking shit up. And you're like, oh, thank God. So that's how we started shutting it down, because it was so bad, dude. We had to figure out, we would be getting.
Wish I would have known that then.
We'd be field daying till the sun came up, like literally the next morning.
Wake up
there was no waking up. We would literally be up when the sun was coming up from field daying, and then now it's like, oh, we gotta start our day.
Yeah.
And then your staff show up and walk through your rooms like they're actually giving a shit, and you're standing there like trying not to fall asleep, and then you go to work and have to do a whole work day on Friday, and you didn't even go to bed because you were scrubbing the tile on your floor tile by the numbers. Yeah. Field days, they don't even field day anymore in the Marine Corps.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
It's a general cleanup now.
Whatever that means.
Dude, I mean, field day, legit. I don't know if this happened in like comm units and like motor T units, but it definitely happened in your unit and our units. But I mean, dude, I remember I've never seen any other barracks at 2 a.m. when we would be doing this. We were always the only ones. And I mean, dude, field daying, going through that rite of passage of field day is like what makes platoons so tight.
Yeah.
Like, and brings the camaraderie together, because everybody is just, you know, when you have just a life that you're living full of just hate and discontent every single day because of the seniors that are in charge of you, you have to find a way to like deal with it. And so for us, I mean, dude, whenever we'd have downtime, we became so tight as a platoon because we would just shit talk our seniors so much. Like, oh, fuck that dude up. Like, I'm gonna catch him one day. I mean, dude, we were doing like messed up stuff, putting shit in their drinks. Like,
dude,
we were doing stuff to fuck with them back. So
I had a fucking senior Marine that I hated so bad because he was a fucking dick, but he was a fucking. I mean, that dude smoked and drank, but he could fucking run. And I remember he would fucking get drunk, and he would make us go run. You remember 29 Palms?
Oh, yeah.
Remember Sugar Cookie?
Yes.
Yeah, that fucking sandhill?
Yes.
He would make us go up that thing, low crawl backwards, start springing up there. Oh, dude. And I remember, dude, some people started throwing up. It was just so bad. But that motherfucker would smoke and drink, and but he was just a fucking asshole. But he knew his shit. Like, he knew his shit. And
Which you need those guys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, he would haze us because we fucking do something stupid. We didn't know our shit, right? And I remember one time thinking, I told one of my buddies, Volk, I told him, I was like, dude, when we go to fucking Iraq, if he's my team leader, I'm going to fucking kill him, dude. Fuck that.
We've all had a guy like that in a platoon,
like, I hate that motherfucker.
He's catching around. He's going to catch around.
Oh, dude. But then, like, after Iraq and we came back and everything that happened, like, now he's a really good buddy of mine.
Really?
I talk to him.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I'm pretty tight with a few of our seniors that were like absolute, you know, just
dickheads,
the worst human beings on the planet. And, you know, once we got back and we can bond on the same level, and even though I didn't go through anything what those dudes went through, like, you know, our seniors, they had it horrible. So we did nothing compared to any of those guys. And so like, but I understood, you know, I was like, okay, like my bad. Like, I should not have been a belligerent asshole so bad and like fought the system, but that's just who we were. Like I had a whole platoon full of guys like us. It was just so bad. So, but it's part of I want to say it was part of the Marine Corps tradition and history. It was that's just the cycle of life, you know, and you become the senior, and then you get the new boots, and then that's how it was treated. But like now it's all gone. Like that shit doesn't exist anymore at all.
I think though it's kind of, in a way, I think it is absolutely necessary. Because,
for sure.
Yeah, it's like these are the places that when that time where we were gonna be sent, like there's things that are gonna be done and seen that like I think that it's absolutely necessary to kind of like another form. Like I guess it's like you go through phases of culture shock, right? Or desensitized.
Yep.
Right. From boot camp to SOI and then hitting the fleet. Because I remember in SOI do you remember all those videos that they were coming out with? These moto videos where you see freaking Marines like in Iraq or what should we call it, the push through Fallujah, and you see all those moto videos and so
with like the 3-4 or what's that battalion? 3-1. Like I think they had some crazy videos.
That really famous one, right? Funny, my buddy Cordova, when I married my cousin, he was with 3-1. So he was like all we see all those videos, right? And so I remember in SOI, they would show us those videos.
Yeah.
And I think it was like a form of desensitizing us to get us ready to what we were gonna go and somewhat experience, right? And so when you get to the fleet, it's a different type of desensitizing.
It's the next level.
It's the next level.
The next phase.
Now it's serious because, and I think it's so 100% necessary for them to treat us that, like treat their younger Marines and make sure that they know their knowledge. Get whoever is now like a little, the weakest link out of the group, get them out now. Because now once you go into country, like they can't be a liability, you know? And
you're either an asset or you're a liability.
Exactly. And if you're a liability, you're going to put other people's lives in danger.
Yep.
So I think it's 100% necessary. Yeah.
I think it's necessary too because, you're taking, say, 70 kids to a war, right? Even, like, for me, even though I joined the military, joined the Marine Corps, went through the schooling, hit the fleet, told, hey, we're deploying, like it never sets in, right? Yeah. Like at least for me, it wasn't like, man, we're going to, like, it's part of the life. Yeah. It's a lifestyle you're surrounded in every day. So it becomes like you're desensitized to like deploying because you're talking about it. But I feel it wasn't done right for us by any means, but it was necessary because it brought our platoon so close together.
Yeah.
We didn't have like cliques. I mean, you had your group of friends in your platoon, but it like we can sit down in a group and there would be 30, 40 dudes in that group and you'd all sit there and just talk.
Yeah.
And it's because we were so tight of what we had to go through before our even deployment, of the amount of hazing and how bad it was. All it does is it drove us as a platoon closer together, all the troops, right? Yeah. Because we all turned on like that was our common denominator of the coming together, was because of our seniors being so ruthless to us. So when it come time to deploy, I mean, dude, it was like just the most well-oiled machine you could imagine. Obviously it toned down right before deployment because it's the next phase, like, where things are getting real. But I think it was such a necessary thing during those earlier days of the war, was bringing you from being a child to like, hey, we're going overseas, and this is what's going to, this is what's happened to us. This is what's happened in the past. This is what we're preparing you for. It's never explained like that. Yeah. But, I think it's a huge thing that it was a very necessary thing that was part of your pre-deployment, becoming a young man in the military. And now none of it exists anymore.
No.
Which is sad.
It is. It's sad. Maybe it will change.
I mean, we get back into another conflict. I mean, but then you're going to have a whole generation of no war fighters.
It's scary.
It is scary. It's really scary because I mean, man, one of my really good friends, he just retired, and I mean, how much longer after him? I mean, there's probably another 5 years. I would like to see the statistic on how many war fighters are actually left in the military.
I went to, like I said, the 75th anniversary for 2-7, right? Yeah. And so we got to meet the Marines that are now in 2-7.
Yep.
And dude, I don't think I ran into a single one that had any combat experience. Yeah. Maybe like I think we met the gunny, and he did, but he was like
one guy.
Yeah, one guy, and he was from like I think around our era.
Could you imagine deploying? Like, imagine knowing what we know now, with that knowledge, but then joining the Marine Corps again and getting put in a whole platoon, including your seniors and your staff NCOs that have no deployment time to a full.
Yeah, man.
Like what?
Kind of like those Marines during the Chosen Reservoir.
Chosen Frozen, like those. I mean,
their guys that were training them were Marines who had been in World War II. Mm-hmm. And dude, imagine that. That would have been something else.
I mean, at least back then, I mean, there were conflicts enough, but now we've had such a stretch. I mean, we've been
it's been a while now.
Now, if something kicks off, I mean, you have a whole generation of some people that have absolutely zero combat knowledge on the battlefield. They're just going to go off of everything. And then look how much the battlefield's changed with drones.
No, it's so different now. Yeah.
Dude, fuck fighting a war now.
No, yeah, that's a whole different ball game now.
I'll take what we had.
Yeah. Any day.
Any day over worrying about a drone coming in a window and leveling a house that you're sitting in.
That's insane. That's what like my buddy that I was telling you, right? Like, damn, like that. He talks a little bit about it, and it's like, fuck.
Scary.
That's scary.
So let's get into deployment.
Okay.
How long were you in the fleet before you guys were deploying?
I think it was about 9 months.
Okay, so that's a good amount of time.
Yeah, so I got enough time to be like trained with all my senior Marines and understand like what they were talking about and what like how their deployment went, right? Their prior deployment. And so I was fortunate that when the platoon, the squad that I got put into was my squad leader that was his third deployment. So he already had a lot of experience. And all my team leaders had that was his third deployment as well, and the other ones that was their second deployment. So they all had a lot of experience. And then our corpsman, that was his second deployment. So our corpsman was the best. I was very fortunate to have the best corpsman in the whole whole company.
Okay.
Like he was, everybody respected him.
Which is very nice.
Yeah, very nice.
Very nice.
So we learned a lot of stuff from him. And then our squad was just very, very tight.
Yep.
Tight group, And so yeah, we ended up, I was there with them, with my unit for 9 months until we got deployed in January of 2007.
To Iraq?
Iraq.
Okay. 2007. January 2007. Was I in Iraq in 2000? I might have been in Iraq in January in 2007. We came back. Yeah. So anyways.
Yeah, that was during, we were like the first wave.
Yeah.
Of the troop surge. You remember that when George Bush sent an additional some 1,000 Marines into Iraq, or Marines and Army. The Army went to Baghdad and stuff like that. And we started seeing, because they were seeing the spike of the insurgency going through that time. So I was one of the first waves to get to Al-Anbar province, Saqlawiyah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were in the Al-Anbar. So I was in Al-Anbar. We were there. We were in do you remember Haklaniya? They had Haklaniya, Sinjik, Barwana, Rupa. So we hit that whole triangle area for a while. So I wonder if we crossed paths at all.
Could have. I know I was right across the river. Do you remember Habaniya?
Yeah, okay.
I was right across the river from there. We're right next to Karma and maybe like 30 minutes away from Fallujah. Okay.
Yeah, we were north a little ways, I believe. I'm looking.
I was on that. Yeah, you remember the main MSR? It's called MSR Mobile. I don't know.
There's Bronze Mobile.
That's
Bronze Mobile. There was a couple others. Yeah, Bronze and Mobile.
Was the main one that came right through our AO.
Yeah.
So I was in Saqlawiyah, which is where I was at. But in the beginning, I was on the outskirts of the main city of Saqlawiyah. We were in the outskirts. We were living in this they call it Kamatilda. It was just a fucking house that they had put HESCO barriers around them, and sandbags, and we had post up on the top of the roof, and that's where we were living at for the first 2 months.
So when you got there, when you flew, right? You didn't do a mule.
We flew into we got into I didn't do it was straight. We went to Kuwait first. We got to Kuwait, and we were there for I think a couple of days, and then we flew into. I'm trying to remember. I think it was. I don't remember what base. It was one of those big bases. I think it could have been TQ or.
TQ. Yeah, I remember.
I think it was TQ. We were there for some time, and then we drove. We went on a convoy to.
What's going through your head at this time? Did you land at night or was it during the day?
Dude, we landed in Iraq. I think I don't remember. I think it was at night, or it was getting night. Just remember, as soon as we got there, man, it didn't really feel like
you're in a war zone.
Yeah, and I was in a war zone because we're in a big base, right? Yep. So it felt like, honestly, I would always think it didn't feel like I was far away from home. Mm-hmm. It was. I 100%
understand what you're saying.
Because you're in a big base. And everything's cool.
Cars and people running around.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you got the Chow Hall, you got PX,
Baskin and Robbins and shit.
It wasn't that big of a deal.
Burger King.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, or do you remember? Was it Rice King?
No.
The name of that little. It was like a teriyaki bowl.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it had places like that. You had the gym and all that, right? So it didn't feel surreal at that moment. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until we took the convoy to our AO once we left the wire. And then it was in the middle of the night.
How long was that drive? I feel like every drive
forever. It felt like forever. It really did. We were on this back of the 7 tons and late at night. It was dark. Yeah, you can't see outside. You don't know.
Can't sleep. You're trying to sleep. Yeah. You got dudes leaning on you. Yeah, those are the longest rides of your life.
Terrible. And you can hear, and then at that point you can hear other units getting into something. You hear
really
firefights.
Really?
Right. You hear explosion every here and there, right? So then I was like, oh shit, like
we're going.
We're here now, right? And so, yeah, like I remember we stopped at one point because something had happened. Somebody like had gotten some contact. You can hear it.
Yeah.
You can hear it outside, right? It was pretty close. And so like, I was like, oh shit, like we're gonna get in it right now, like as soon as we got here. But no, we made it to our AO, or to our Cop Matilda, and get there. And we freaking first night we got there at night, so we slept in like right on the floor because we're relieving the other unit, so it was just a packed house.
Who were you relieving? Do you remember?
2-8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were relieving 2-8, and so like I just remember we crashed out for that night, right? And then like I think in the morning is when we did our first patrol.
Really?
The that same morning, or maybe it was the next day. I don't really remember, but I remember it was in the morning when we did our first patrol, and 2-8. The guys that were there, they took us. A couple guys went with us.
Yeah, doing the left seat, right seat. Yeah.
And so I remember we went to this. Dude, I remember leaving the wire, and I at that moment there's like I was scared.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
As soon as we left the wire.
And how old are you at this point?
19.
Yeah.
I was 19. I was a kid. I remember as soon as we stepped on the wire, I was expecting, okay, we're about to get contact sometime soon. I was kind of like, at that time when we got there, it was still kind of like the rainy season.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of green there in that area where you're at. So it kind of felt like, I always thought like, oh, damn, the fucking Marines who were in Vietnam, like that's what it was going through my mind, right? Like, oh, we're gonna get contact right now, But fortunately, nothing like that happened. We're going through these towns, and it was surreal because like you see how other people live in another world, like I was telling you, right? At first, it felt like I wasn't too far away from home, but once we started patrolling, we started like taking the first couple steps out of that wire, and it was in the morning, so I hadn't seen how it looked because we got there at night. Then I'm like realized like, wow, we're in a whole different other part.
We're not
of the
in
world.
Kansas anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And so I remember walking through these some of these alleyways and getting to this house, and they were the guys from 2A were explaining to us, okay, we found a body over here. We got into a firefight over here. There's a sniper that shot at us as soon as we get here, whatever, And so I remember we were getting into this house, and there's this fucking Marine who's big as fuck. Big old dude. We were inside. They were inside the house, right? Me and all the fucking boots, we were holding security outside of the house, right? And I just hear the guy kind of like getting like with a big Marine just throwing this one dude around, boom, boom, just like fucking him up, right?
Yeah.
Just like bop, bop, hitting him. And I remember I looked, and this Marine had this fucking dude on the wall, and he was just holding him like that, and they were just like questioning him. But I guess they were mad because he wasn't like talking about they were asking him questions he didn't want to answer any questions, right? And so I just remember thinking on it when that was happening, I was like, damn, okay, this is real, right? This is happening. This is how it is.
We're here.
Yeah, we're here. And so that was probably like that's when like when that happened, I think that was when like I realized, okay, this is fucking this is serious. Like, yeah, this is not no more. They're not playing games anymore.
Isn't it crazy to think, like, it didn't even set in that you like the reality of what you have done by signing the dotted line, joining the Marine Corps. You are now in Iraq on patrol, watching a dude get interrogated before you're like we're here.
And like, this is it. Because I seen dudes get beat up, right? Like, I grew up in in the places I grew up. You see people get beat up, but it wasn't. This time it hit different because it's a war zone. Like
it's a war zone. You got some foreign guy that's not even speaking English. Like you're like, is he my enemy? Is he not my enemy? He's not in a uniform. He just looks like some dad in a house that we now took over and interrogating these people.
It's much different, and
it's weird for sure.
Here's the thing too, like because like I felt like like my idea of being there in Iraq at that time was like, oh, we're here to help these people. I was young.
Yep.
I was
hearts and minds.
Yeah, hearts and minds. I was pretty naive. I didn't understand like what really was going on, right? And so I thought like, okay, I'm here to help these people. But like, and some of my seniors, they looked at it differently.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
They had been there, And so these like you got on there like sometimes like well like I said they are like fuck that fool, fuck him, you know.
Yeah.
They're gonna beat him up and that's exactly what they would do in those kind of things, in those kind of situations. But it was because like we have a job to do, you know, and it was definitely like an eye-opening moment
for sure.
Right at that point. But then after a while, it's just kind of like you'd see those kind of things, so you got kind of used to it.
Becomes norm for sure. Oh, 100%. I mean, watching somebody get interrogated or a kid get interrogated, like at first you're like, you want to help the kid, and then you find out like, oh, hey, this kid's wanted for planning these IEDs and doing that, and you're like, oh, okay. And then you hear that a couple times, and now it's like, oh, that kid's guilty. He's, you know, get him. You become desensitized to it pretty quick.
Especially when like, because you don't know who to trust. You know?
No, you can't trust anybody.
They're like, I mean, they're giving you chai 1 minute, and then the next day, that's that person that's probably shooting at you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so. Yeah.
So how long were you guys in theater before you started, like, before you got into it and took some contact, and you were like, okay, like.
So, dude, like I don't really remember exactly when like the first time we got contact, because we didn't have like a lot of small arms.
Yeah.
Like it was more like snipers and
really?
And IEDs. We had a lot of IEDs, and so there was there was one time that I was down. We were in that farm in the Matilda, right, the house. I was down right like where the because you know we're surrounded by Heskelberries. So I was outside right in between the house and the Heskelberries, and there was a post. Someone was up on the post right above me, and they got shot at by a sniper. He just hit the sandbags. Like, blah.
Yep.
And I was like, oh shit! Like fucking, we just got shot at by a sniper, right? So maybe that could have happened. I think within a couple of weeks. Once like the 2-8 guys left, then we started getting a little bit of contact. I think they were already watching us.
Oh yeah.
Trying to seeing okay, there's a new unit coming in.
You're gonna test them, see how they react. If it's
because they knew. I'm sure the dude. Now that I think about it, I'm sure the sniper knew that he's not gonna be able to hit that Marine.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. He just popped a shot. And there was another time where I think it was 2nd platoon. Started getting in a firefight. We were QRF.
Mm-hmm.
And so on the way over, like I remember we all load up. Less than 5 minutes, we're out the wire, and you just hear like, "Hey, we're getting contact," right on the radio, and you can just hear everybody going. That was like the moment I was like, "Oh, here we are. We're about to get into some shit," you know. Unfortunately, we got there and
all done.
It was all done. So yeah, it was mostly like sniper fire. So we got shot at one time. When RPG, dude, we're on a comp. I was a turret gun. I was a saw gunner, so I was on top. And
what vehicle are you in?
Dude, I think I was the 3rd Vic.
Okay.
Yeah. And so like but they were aiming at us. We were right by the fob. They were aiming at the post on the roof.
Oh,
so
okay.
they shoot it, and I guess it went up and it exploded. But dude, that was like the loudest. Besides the one explosion I got, that was one of the loudest explosions I've ever felt.
Really?
It was so close. The whole Humvee just started shaking. You could feel it in your chest, you know. And I was like, "Damn, what the hell was that?" And dude, that was pretty crazy.
How long were you in before you got hit?
I was 4 months in. We're going on 4 months.
Let's go through that day.
Because the day before, on the 19th of April.
Yeah.
The Iraqi police station had gotten hit, and this is in April, so like the whole spring offensive started happening. Things
were kicking off. Things were starting
warming up a little bit. Yeah, it was warming up, and that's when we started getting hit with more snipers, like IEDs. We found a lot of IEDs. So the Iraqi police station ended up getting hit by a suicide bomber.
Really?
Yeah. And
how big of a suicide bomb was it?
Well, let me see if it was. I don't know. Let me try to remember exactly how it went down, because I know we had the Iraqi police station that got hit, and then we also had another post that we were building. It was by some bridge. We call it Go Army Bridge.
Okay.
And they got hit by a suicide bomber. I don't remember. I think it was the Iraqi police station that got hit right before I got hit. So yeah, it was. They were like, they had the 7 tons right in the front entrance. If I'm not mistaken, they had 7 tons, but the suicide bomber went right up to it and blew himself up a little too early.
Oh. Okay.
So it didn't get anybody, but like he just blew up a car and threw it against the wall, and the Iraqi police station destroyed part of the wall. But everybody was fine, you know. And a couple of Marines got a little bit injured, but nothing major. And then so, but we at that time, okay, like things are starting to pop off, like, and we were on top of this overpass. Our checkpoint was like, it was called a checkpoint, but we weren't really checking anything. What we were doing, it was set up as like an LPOP.
You're just watching?
Yeah, listening position, observation position, right? And so we were just watching this MSR mobile.
Yeah.
We were right on that.
I don't know how many days of my life I spent watching that highway.
Yeah.
Just for somebody to just pull over and dig.
Exactly.
Which never happened.
Dude, no. And so like, yeah, we were like just observing that whole MSR when it happened, right? But so yeah, so we were on top. We had the checkpoint there, and I remember even talking to my buddy Volk. And he was like, he's on the set. So if I was an insurgent, so what I would do is I would freaking get in a truck with explosives, drive it up this little hill right here, and come up to us and just fucking blow myself up, right? And so yeah, and so like I remember, so the day before the IP station got hit, and then so everybody was on alert because they knew somebody else was gonna get hit most likely, right? And so the next day, on the 20th of April, I remember we had a freaking whatchamacallit, a chaplain, a Catholic chaplain, can't come to the post, and the majority of our squad were Latinos, Catholics. A lot of us could say, go like visit, do mass or confessions and stuff like that. And I remember at that time I didn't. Because I grew up Catholic, right? Most of it was Catholic. So when I joined the Marine Corps, I put down that I was Catholic, and so I wanted to do. I had been baptized Catholic, but I never did my communion, and so I remember I told the Catholic chaplain, the Catholic priest, that I wanted to do my first communion, and if I could do it there in Iraq, and he said, no, totally, that totally can be done, right? Yeah. And so I remember he gave me a little like medallion of the Archangel, St. Michael, and he blessed it. He did a prayer with me, and then he gave it to me, and I remember putting it right here in my flak jacket. And then like I think some of the guys, did their confession. I remember my squad leader did his confession, and once he left, I remember I had to get on the saw gun when he was leaving. I just remember seeing him turn in the corner, and I asked somebody to take my spot so I can take a picture real quick. And so we had restrooms there. We got shit in the fucking wag bag and all right. So
the good old days.
Yeah, the good old days. I remember we had this fucking piss cup on top of this Heskelberry, and we'd piss in it and just dump it out to the side. Yeah. And so at that moment, when I was right before I was gonna get on that piss cup, I remember my squad leader comes up to me. He's like, "Oh, you know what? I confessed." And he's like, and I was like, "No, what?" And he's like, I confessed about like I jerked off like 1,000,000 times right here on this post. Just talking shit, And I just started laughing, and then like at that moment I turned around, and that's when I was reaching for the piss cup with my left hand, and everything went black. Boom, when everything went black.
Really?
Yeah. And that's when we got hit at that moment, right when I was reaching for the piss, and it was right on top of the Heskel barrier. So I just felt myself like being tossed up in the air. I was doing a backflip. I could feel myself in the air. I remember seeing black, white, black, and I saw white again, and that's when I hit the ground. Really? And I remember like being told, like, it almost felt like when you get hit by a large wave at the ocean, and you get tumbled underneath. That's kind of what it felt like, but it felt like in slow motion. I remember thinking at that moment, when everything was black, I just remember thinking, am I dead? Like, it was just it was so weird because like I just felt myself in the air, and then I hit the ground. And
do you remember what it like? Did you feel hitting the ground, or was it just the
I remember
movement?
hitting the ground like this boom, right? Mm-hmm. But I was wearing a flak jacket, thank God, and my Keller helmet, so that was good. And then I remember hitting the ground, and like whenever the debris started kind of clearing up, and I was trying to open my eyes, but I couldn't really see I couldn't see really well because I had a bunch of dirt inside my eyelid. So I was kind of like trying to open my eyes, and realize like, okay, I'm not dead, but like something happened. We got hit, and so like at that moment I remember my team leader started screaming, and he was like, Doc, right? He was like, help me. He's like, fuck, and he's screaming because he was in a lot of pain. And like at that moment, I tried to get up, When I tried to get up, I just felt this immense pain coming from my feet. And like I just fell back. And so like I told you, I had a bunch of dirt in my eyes, and I could kind of see a little bit.
Yeah.
But I just felt like there was a bunch of like just ball of dirt in my eye. So I tried to wipe it with my left hand. And when I this, I just saw my hand. It was dangling from like a piece of skin, like the back of my hand. It was touching my elbow, and it just squirting out blood. And I was like, oh, that's not good, you know. And so like at that moment, like since I couldn't feel, I felt like somebody had put like, when I didn't try to move, I felt like somebody had put like piled like sandbags on my feet. Couldn't really feel them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, well, if I'm like my hands almost blown off, then that means my legs are gone, you know, my feet are gone. And so that's what I was thinking. The first thing that came to my mind, remember that movie, The Butterfly Effect?
Yeah.
Remember that scene where Ashton Kutcher gets his all his limbs blown up? Mm-hmm. That's what came to my mind. I was like, oh,
really?
I'm gonna be a freak now, you know. So no offense to people who are all missing all their limbs.
But this is true thoughts. Yeah.
And then like at that moment, I noticed that I wiped my hand with my face with my right hand. And I remember looking at my hand. I was like, well, at least I still got one good limb, right? So that was kind of a relief. Then I kept hearing my squad leader, my team leader screaming. He was like, Doc. And then so I started freaking out at that moment, knowing that what was happening to my hand. But once I realized kind of like what was going on, and I noticed that my hand was kind of blown off, I started feeling the pain.
Oh, so you're still laying there processing. This is all happening in seconds or like minutes?
Yeah, this is probably a couple seconds into it, right? And I was like, oh shit! Like then I started feeling the pain. It felt like if I hit my phony bone, but really hard, and almost felt like my hand was kind of like on fire.
Okay.
And I noticed I was losing a lot of blood, right? And so I started yelling for Doc. I was like, Doc, you know, help me, you know. But he wasn't getting to me. And I remember I was just looking straight up into the sky. Dude, it was a nice, beautiful day. As I could see the blue sky and a couple of clouds. And when I realized that Doc wasn't getting to me, and I didn't know why, but I knew. I was like, okay, I was thinking, like, fuck, I'm gonna die out here. Mm-hmm. I was like, I don't want to die, not here, you know. And then it was weird because I didn't know where I was on the bridge, so one moment I was kind of like I started panicking again because I felt like somebody, like some Iraqi, was gonna come with a rifle and put some shots in my head because I didn't know if I was on top of the bridge or got blown off, so I had no idea where exactly I was positioned.
Oh shit!
And so
now not only are you know that you're possibly missing your legs, you see your hand hanging off of your arm,
and I didn't have my rifle near me either.
You don't have a rifle, and you're worrying about an Iraqi coming in because you don't know if you got ambushed, like if this is an attack. I mean, I feel like that's a pretty valid thought. Like you're trying to get back in the fight.
Yeah.
Like you're.
That was scary because like I said, and I couldn't find and you know, like a lot of the guys would carry like a pistol, right? Because they had the M16. I didn't get to carry that because I just had the saw, and so I didn't have my rifle and everything. So I was kind of panicking, and but at one point I was like, okay, well, like when I kind of came to terms, like I think I'm gonna die here. I at least try to grab my sleeve, which kind of ripped, so I grabbed it like this, and so I had some slack on it, and I went like this, and I tightened it as much as I could to try to because I couldn't find my tourniquet. That's another thing. That's what I was gonna ask. I was looking. I usually would carry. I don't remember if I carried on this side or on this side. I don't remember, but I was trying to do this and trying to find it, and I couldn't. So then I just grabbed my sleeve and I twisted and tried to tighten it as much as possible. And then I heard at that moment I was just like kind of like just gave up on trying to call Doc Thompson, and I was kind of thinking, I was like, this is where I'm gonna die, you know. And I remember hearing my squad leader say, "Hey, Mariquin," he's like, get on the radio." And then Mariquin, I think he went. Supposedly he went on the radio and tried to call on the radio, but it was dead because that shit got blown to shit. And so, but he popped the pyro. He ended up popping the pyro. So everybody that was in QRF, they didn't. From what I understand, is that they didn't let QRF get to us immediately because they thought there was going to be a secondary ID. So they held them off for a couple minutes, 10, 15 minutes. I don't remember.
So you're laying there on your own.
Yeah, I'm laying there bleeding out, and so then so they didn't let the QRF go immediately. But when Mariquin popped off that pyro, he let everybody know back at the FOB that there was still Marines alive. and they thought we were all dead.
What did you guys get hit with?
Dude, it was a giant, those giant dump trucks.
Yeah.
Mercedes dump trucks. It was one of those loaded with like 3,000 pounds of explosives.
And they drove it right under the bridge?
Underneath the bridge.
And blew you up?
And blew us up. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, dude, like I said, it was a giant dust cloud.
Yeah.
So, so like the whole bridge was almost like completely tore down.
Now, when you talk a bridge, we call them bridges over there too, but you're talking like an overpass. Yeah. An overpass here, which blew my mind why they had us standing on overpasses with cars just going underneath us all day long. I mean, I'm sure they changed a lot after you guys got hit. So how many guys did you have on this bridge?
There was 8 of us. 6 of us got severely injured. 2 of them stayed back.
Really?
Mm-hmm. American was one of them, and there was another guy named Perot.
So 6 out of 8 got injured on that. Nobody killed.
No, but like our thank God, you know, our corpsman though, he did end up in a vegetative state, and that's why he wasn't getting to me, or else he would have been there to us immediately.
So you didn't even have a corpsman. He got hit.
He got hit. He got the worst of it.
Really?
He got the worst of it, unfortunately.
Damn. So you're laying there. Obviously, minutes are going by. How long was it until they started providing aid to you? Till that team got there?
No, I can't tell you because I don't really remember.
Yeah.
It felt like forever though, 100%. And I did lose a lot of blood.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like as soon as I saw it, like he was just like a fountain, like just shooting out blood.
So your whole hand was removed.
No,
except for a piece of skin.
It was still there. It was still just dangling from like a piece of skin. I could see the bone, and that was the worst. But so then like so then they finally, somebody got to us. I remember one of my buddies named Jeffers. He was the first one that got to me, and he immediately, as soon as he got to me, he immediately put a tourniquet on me. And so once he put the tourniquet on me,
did you feel it?
When he put the tourniquet, no.
So you're in shock at this point.
I was in shock. Yeah. Then they got to me, and then one of the corpsmen hit me with some morphine immediately when he got to me. And so like I don't know how many shots of morphine he gave me, but when we were, here's a little bit. There was like I was telling you that there was some pretty funny things that happened in that moment that now that I look back on, I kind of laugh about it, right? But everybody was kind of, it was so many of us that got hit all at once.
I mean, that's a mass casualty for sure.
Yeah, and so like everybody was like, when they got there, our Marines did fucking hell of a job, but they were all over the place, boom, 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 doing what they had to do, right? And so it was a very hectic scene, you know? And I remember when they were pulling, I think, Doc Thompson, who was my corpsman, they were pulling him out of the rubble and putting him into the high vac. And when they were taking him out, one of the guys that was holding onto one of the corners of the stretcher started like tripping on my foot. And remember, I just felt pain from my feet. Remember, so what actually had happened was I had 2 calcaneal fractures. So like they tell me that my heels were like basically mush.
Really?
Like the bone was just shattered, and so they had to like reconstruct my heels back once I got back to country, stuff like that. But when he was pulling Doc Thompson out, he starts tripping on my foot, and he was trying to catch his footing, so he was just stomping on my feet, dude. I was
with shattered ankles.
Painful, yeah. And I think Jeffers, who he didn't realize that like what was going on, because he was paying attention to me and trying to be like, you know, keep me awake. I started screaming because I was calm, you know. I was like, okay, they're gonna get me out. All of a sudden, it starts screaming like you know, and freaking I'm sorry, Jeffers is like he's like, oh, you're all right, dude, you're okay. And I was like, no, someone stomped on my feet. And speaking of like even going back a little bit, but when it first happened, I remember Mariquin did come up to me, and he's the one who confirmed that my feet were okay, that I still have feet.
You asked him?
Because he came up to me, and I was like screaming for Doc, and he comes up to me, and he's like, and Graham, because me and him, I was really close with him at that time, so I mean, I think that he probably struggles with a lot, like seeing us all fucked up.
For sure.
Right? So he comes up to me, he's like, I saw him like a big brother, right? So he comes up to me, and he's like, you're fine, Mendez, you're fine. And I was like, dog. He's like, I grabbed him. I remember grabbing his flak jacket, and I was like, dog. I was like, do I still have my feet? He looked down. He's like, your feet are fine. And then he went back, and I think he went to get on the radio at that point.
You're like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, I was like, thank God, right? But okay, so then they start stomping on my feet, and then I was like, nah, they stomped on my feet. Okay, so then they get me and Doc Thompson in the same high vac, and like from the drive from where we were at to the fob where we were staying at was just down the street. It was like less than 2 minutes. It was just down the street. So during that moment, I think this is a memory of mine that I still struggle with, because how do I explain it? Seeing Doc like at that point, I still, how would I say, like I'm still very traumatized about it because he was dying, you know. But Doc Thompson was, he was a corpsman, but he was the biggest, strongest one of all of us, you know. And I remember when they were we were taking us back to the high vac, one of the other corpsmen had opened up his flak jacket and was giving him CPR, and they were like yelling at him, telling him like, wake up, like stay with us. And I remember looking to my right because he was right next to me, and I remember seeing his eyes rolling to the back of his head. And then like at that moment, I remember reaching over and grabbing his flak jacket, and I started crying because like seeing that, that's probably one of the worst memories of the whole situation. See Doc like that, you know, and I thought he was like dying. And so when we get to the main fob, they pulled Doc Thompson out of there first, and then when they were pulling me out, do you remember those high vacs? You know how the high vacs, the old school ones, right? They had like almost like a bench.
Yeah.
Two sides.
Yeah. The two bench seats.
Yeah, the bench seats. When they were pulling me out of there, my hand got caught like right on like the metal frame that was holding the bench seat. It got caught right there, and they were trying to pull me out. Since they were kind of like all in a hurry, they didn't realize
your hands caught.
Yeah, and they started ripping. Dog, I screamed so loud. I was like, fuck. I was like fucking yelling around. I was like, fuck. And I think one of the guys, Novoa, and he was like, no, Mendez, you're okay. And I was like, nah. And then Ford, my other buddy who was with my squad, he just wasn't there when we got hit, but he was the one that pulled us out. He's like, no, his hand stuck. He had to grab me from the 3 fingers and yank it off like that. And finally, but it was so painful. And then but from that moment, I got taken out of that high vac. When we got put into we got taken into the fob. I don't remember that split couple seconds, right? Maybe 5-10 seconds. I don't remember that. I think they shot me with so much morphine and I was in so much pain.
Yeah.
And I just blacked out. And then when I came to, they were taking us into like the cafeteria.
Probably blacked out from the pain.
I don't know, dude.
Them almost ripping the little final shreds of skin off of your hand.
So painful though. And so then when we finally got into the cafeteria, I remember that's when they finally were able to grab my hand and they try to put it back in place, and they just wrapped it up, right? And at that moment, I was crying, dude, because I was like, fuck, like I was asking, where's Morante? Where's Morante? Who's my squad leader? I was like, where's Morante? And I was like, where's Doc? So I wanted to know if everybody's like, no, they're fine, right? And then like at that moment, I think I started kind of calming down, right? And I was shot with so much morphine, and then finally the helicopter, the helo got to us, and they loaded us up, and that's when I realized I was gonna lose my hand because they told me, okay, try to move your fingers. And so I tried to move my fingers on my left hand, and they didn't move. It just stung. Yeah, and then we got from there. I think I was already starting, like, I lost so much blood, so I was almost on the brink of like passing out. Like,
shock.
Like, yeah, and just losing so much blood. Because I remember when we got to I think it was TQ, because they flew us into TQ, right? And they were sending us outside the hospital area, and they put us outside for a while until they got everything ready inside there. I remember they took all my clothes off, and so I just had a blanket. And I remember thinking, dude, I was tired and I was cold. And I told the nurse, the Air Force nurse lady, I told her I'm really tired. I just want to go to sleep. So no, stay awake. I think maybe now that I probably was fucking dying at that moment, you know.
Really?
And I just felt tired, and and cold.
Ready to check out.
Yeah, you're ready to check out.
That's scary.
So they put us. They brought us into the finally when they brought us into like the little emergency area. This Navy guy was directing everybody, right, telling everybody what to do. Or I think it was Navy. I don't know, but whatever. I remember he was right. I was laying down, right. He was right behind me, and at one of those points, I don't remember if it was before that or afterwards. I think it was before. It had to be before because they made me black out, right? I remember a priest, like in like his whole Catholic priest outfit, comes over and he starts blessing me and doing the cross on my forehead. And it felt kind of like a dream, but I've asked my squatter, and he did the same thing to him. But I thought at that moment, like, shit, I'm dying. I seen the fucking
farewell,
movies,
my
right?
son.
Yeah.
You're like, no, I'm not ready.
I was like, but I kind of accepted it, right? It was like just like whatever. And,
you're like, well, I'm here.
I was like, fuck, I'm all right. I'm gonna die. But I remember feeling like some way, like in somewhat at ease because I was like, I thought to myself, peace with it. Yeah, I was at peace with it. I was like, because I thought, well, at least I'm not gonna die on that bridge, on that overpass. So, but like what I think, it still had not 100% like I still had not like realized that I was actually gonna lose my hand. It wasn't until, like I said, that one guy that was directing everybody, right? He was right behind me, and he said something about having to amputate my hand, and that's when I heard him say that, I just snapped out of that day, like that
acceptance of peace.
Yeah, like, I just snapped out of that daze that I was in.
Yeah,
because he said that, and I was like, I just kind of like jumped up out of the freaking bed, and was like, what is it call it, the gurney? Or
yeah.
I jumped out of it, and I was like, no. I was like, please don't take my hand. I remember telling him, please don't take my hand. Please don't take my hand. And it was like, I need my hand. And the guy felt so bad for me, dude, that he grabbed my head and he put his forehead against my forehead, and they put that thing over my mouth, and then I passed out.
Damn, that's
Could you imagine, like, I think that guy, like, whatever, he just probably saw a kid on that
100%, man.
Yeah.
But you were a kid.
Yeah,
I mean,
I was
you were
19.
19 years old. You're a teenager.
I just turned 19 a couple months prior to that.
Iraq birthdays are the best birthdays.
Well, it wasn't in Iraq, though.
Okay.
I say a couple months, it was more than a few months before that. But
I had two birthdays on deployments. Yeah. So when this dump truck went underneath the bridge, was it directly underneath, or were you directly
we were over it? Or so the overpass is here.
Yeah.
You could come over it. I was probably like a little, maybe a 45-degree angle to him when he...
Was there anybody directly above him when it detonated? So that's why
they didn't. They were at least, because originally that bridge was right over it. When the 2-8 guys were manning that post, they were right over it.
Yeah.
They were like telling us how the Iraqis would throw hand grenades over it onto them to try to fucking blow up their post.
And you guys had shifted your post?
They didn't. The 2-8 guys had shifted it back. I think it was them. Right?
Okay.
It could have been us, but I can remember because I was
So that's what saved you guys.
Yeah, yeah, for the most part.
Damn.
The two there's my buddy Volk and my other buddy May. They were on the side of the bridge when it happened, and they got thrown off the bridge. So they were like on it, and they just got shot off the bridge. They messed up their back, their legs and stuff like that. Internal bleeding. My squad leader ended up losing his leg, his right leg. I don't remember, but yeah, he lost his leg above the knee, and then my team leader lost his foot. But then he lost it a year later. He had the same kind of injuries as I did, but his didn't heal correctly. One of his foot didn't.
I was gonna say, man, because I've dealt with a lot of guys that had like toe poppers injuries and that just shatter their ankle. Then it gets so bad over the years they just have it amputated years later because they can't
deal with the pain of walking on it. So he ended up deciding to lose it a year later. And then our doc is the vegetative state, and we had those two guys, Mariquin and my buddy Perot. They just had like rolled ankles and really bad concussions, but they were like sitting down. They were the only ones two sitting down. The rest of us were standing up. So it was weird how I think it was the fact that they were sitting down. They were
kind of blast went over them in a way.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. Yeah. I mean, besides your corpsman, I mean, you guys came out pretty lucky out of that whole deal. So they put you out. Last thing you hear is they're taking your hand. You wake up where?
I think I was still in Iraq, but we were in one of the big bases.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I think we were still in the same spot. But I woke up and there was this army lady was next to me, and she was just talking to me. She was with me for like most of the time when I was there. But I woke up and I think it was the next day, and they just had, like, I knew I lost my hand, right? So I looked at it, it was just a big bundle of gauze and just whatever they use.
Yeah, all the medical bandages and everything. So you knew right away?
Yeah.
What was the first thought that you remember that went through your head?
At that moment, I remember talking to that lady, and I told her, I told her, I was like, man, I was like, I'm a freak now. Like, who's gonna want to be around me like this, you know? Like, and I remember at that time I had a girlfriend, so I was thinking, she's not gonna want to be with me, you know? I was like, who's gonna want to be around me now? And I was like, what am I gonna do with my life now, you know? And, but she was like, she was telling me, she's like, don't look at it that way. It's like, there's a lot of things that you can do with your life. There's plenty of guys who've been in your situation that have had good lives, you know? So don't think of it that way. But yeah, that's like, just like I felt like it was kind of weird too, because I think like I felt also like I lost my left hand, like kind of like if I lost a buddy.
Okay, yeah.
Weird.
I mean, so something's kind of been with you your whole life, you know?
Yeah, it was so weird. It was so strange. And I remember kind of sometimes, like, it's kind of crazy to think of it, but like I would talk to my right hand and be like, I'm sorry.
Were you left-handed or right-handed?
No, I was right-handed.
So, I mean, best case scenario for you, you'd have to like relearn everything over. I mean, I know there's not a...
No. Like, it was at least, I was like, but, you know, I was like, it was just, it was weird. It was definitely weird to lose the hand. And then, because I just felt like, you know, lost a piece of me, that's exactly what happened. And it was just kind of strange. But, yeah, and then, but it was good to know, like, I remember, I don't remember where we were at. I think it was Camp Fallujah. I don't know. No, maybe it was TQ. I don't remember. One of those two big bases. But when we were getting, I was able to go see my squad leader, and everybody, you know, find out that everybody was okay, except, you know, Doc Thompson. But he was, we were still having hope that he was gonna come out of his state. But yeah, and so like I remember there was a couple guys that were there that got hit at the IP station from the day before, and so we ran into them like, dude, what the fuck happened? And like, checkpoint 286 got hit, you know, and so yeah, that was just, everybody was like, what the fuck, dog? Like, it was 8 of us, the whole squad got taken out from that explosion.
That's a huge, I mean, that's a great mass casualty. I don't know why I couldn't say that. I mean, that's a shit situation to have that many bodies go down at once. And then like, being that far from, like, you guys are kind of an outpost, correct? I mean, so you have the wait for...
we were on Matilda was the outpost.
Yeah.
And then we were there for like 2 months, and then like before I got hit, they moved us to the main fob, which is like it was a giant hotel. It used to be, I think, a college.
Yep.
And they made it into a military base, right? Small.
But when I say outpost, I mean, you guys weren't attached to your actual fob. I mean, so you were what? You'd get dropped off out there, or did you guys drive out with Humvees?
We'd walk over there.
Oh, is within walking distance?
Okay. I think that time we would walk. Sometimes we'd get, you know, driven out there. Off. But it was like we do rotations. So, you know, like 3 days you were on the manning the post there on the fob, and then 3 days you would do QRF, and then 3 days
doing patrols or whatever,
right? Yeah, and that was one of the posts that we had, like that we had to do. So some of us would be on that post, and then the other guys would stand post on the fob.
Yep.
So that's how they split it up.
Damn, man.
Yeah, and like I think, that time, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's how it went down. Because we were actually supposed to be on that bridge, on that overpass for only 3 days, but we ended up getting stuck there for like 2 weeks. I think if I'm not mistaken, but at one point I know that definitely happened, because one of my buddies got killed by a sniper, and so they shut down the whole like town, and so we couldn't get off that post for 2 weeks. So we like, dude, you can, like, man, it was nasty. Like we only packed clothes for 3 days, so we were at the end. We were wearing like the same clothes from that you know, for 2 weeks, the clothes that we had to use for 3 days. And I remember I got like a mild case of trench foot, because we got rain on that post, got flooded, and so we were like, my boots were wet for a couple of days, dude. And I remember taking off my sock. It smelled like rotten meat. It was disgusting.
Good old Marine Corps.
That's how it is, right? But so yeah, and that's basically how it went down.
Did you guys take any like small arms or anything after that, or was that it? Like,
no, so we didn't get any small arms, but when the debris cleared up, one of the last Marines that was getting pulled into to the high vac, a sniper shot him right in one of the Marines are pulling into
really
the other Marine into the high vac. He got shot right in the leg, because from what I was told is that there was a sniper trying to pick us off
after you guys got
hit. Yeah.
See, I mean, your instinct was correct. I mean, you're laying there after you got hit, like worrying about getting ambushed or anything else.
That dust cloud is what kind
saved you guys from sniper fire.
Yeah.
Damn. So they blew you up with 3,000 pounds of explosives in a dump truck, and then had a sniper waiting for y'all.
When they found me, I was right on the edge of that hole, of the giant hole.
Really?
Overpass. Yeah, I was right. I almost fell off of it. I think my squad leader ended up falling out of it. He crushed his whole face. He had to get facial reconstruction because a big, giant block of cement landed on his face.
Jeez.
My squad leader, he's a bad dude. From what I heard, two other guys that when he got there, he was trying to stand up. And he doesn't remember, but I do remember him saying, telling Ameriquin to get on the radio, because I remember him saying.
Yeah.
And I think it came from behind me. So, and when they found me, I was on the edge. So I think he was saying it from way down.
Oh, he was down below
in the hole, yeah. And he was still like trying to
give orders. Good for him.
Yeah. So, man, yeah.
Good for him. Dang, dude, that's wild.
Yeah, brother.
So afterward, I mean, you come home and have to deal and cope with everything now. I mean, how did that work for you for a bit?
Oh, I think that it was difficult.
Yeah.
Trying, like, the recovery process felt like forever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I kind of like started, you know, I broke up with that girlfriend that I had for some reason. I just, you know, I started pushing a lot of people away. And but like once, like, it was good because at least I was with guys that, you know, with my friends.
Yeah.
And so we were all starting to recover until then we ended up having to get split up. Like my team leader me and my squad leader went to San Antonio, and then I ended up choosing to go to San Diego. Mm-hmm. And I went with my team leader. So then it was me, my team leader, and Volk, another buddy. My team leader's name is also Mendez.
Okay.
So but they call him Big Mendez. They call me Little Mendez. So we were all in San Diego, and we were recovering there, which was nice, you know, so because you were around, like, where I was at Medhole, so I was with a bunch of other injured Marines and stuff like that. And so it was cool, you know, and I was doing my recovery process during there, and, like, it wasn't too bad. I didn't realize how much it actually affected me until I ended up deciding, like, to get out, and I actually got out. That's when I think I realized that, like my post-traumatic stress disorder came to fruition because I wasn't around my buddies and guys who I can relate to, and it was just, you know, thrown out into the civilian world, and it was my choice to get out. Yeah, and then, like, you know, I don't regret it, but at the same time I'm like, maybe I should, you know, could have stayed in a little bit longer. So, but yeah, it was difficult.
I'm sure.
Definitely.
So, I mean, you decide to get out. I mean, and then you're just kind of on your own at that point. Yeah. I mean, that's the scary part about the military is, you know, guys have gone through things like that, what you went through with your whole team, and then you're like, hey, I want to get out, and then it's just like, have a nice life.
Yeah.
And how was coping with that?
It was hard because you feel like you have a purpose, right? Mm-hmm. And, like, once you get out and, like, you're in the civilian world, I felt like that was taken away from me. You know, I felt like, I didn't have a purpose. Which, I mean, now that I look back, I'm like, that's, you know, it's kind of silly because I still did, you know. But at that moment, that's exactly how it felt to me. And, like, I just didn't know what I wanted to do. And here's the thing too, like me losing my hand, it took a lot of my opportunities away. And then making the choice of getting out took even more opportunities away from me. And that's those are kind of things that I somewhat regret now, you know, because losing my hand. When my plan was, once I got out of the Marine Corps, I was either going to go try to be a police officer or go and be a firefighter, right?
Yeah.
And so when I lost my hand, that totally went out the window. And so I decided, okay, well, I'll just go to school, use the GI Bill, and go to school. And that was super hard, because then you're like with a bunch of
children,
kids, and
trying to tell you about their world studies and experiences.
I remember people would freak out because they were like, but I take a test, and they would start stressing out. And in my mind, I'm like, it's just a test.
Yeah.
And nobody's gonna die. You're gonna be fine, you know. Yep. And so like having to deal with that, and like just seeing how everybody does live in a bubble, you know, and don't really know like how the world is out there.
Yeah.
It just really threw me off, you know. And so like it was very difficult for me to make friends like outside of the military. The only guys that I could really relate to were all my military buddies. And so like and here's another thing too, like I kind of started like distancing myself too from my military buddies.
Why?
Because I just felt like I was only in Iraq for going on 4 months. It was my first deployment, and I just didn't feel like I did enough. You know?
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I also,
even though you sacrificed almost your life
for
your unit in the military in this country, you still felt like you didn't accomplish enough because you came home earlier than they did. And
that's what like it to this day it still kind of bothers me, you know, but I think I kind of have accepted the fact, you know, the choices that I made. But so I felt real guilty too when I got out. And right when I was getting out, they were being deployed to Afghanistan.
Oh, so you missed that.
I missed that. And so like while they were there, you know, I had a couple buddies that got killed in Afghanistan. So seeing that like through Facebook
and not being able to
be there, like it hurt. And I felt like at that moment I was like, I made a mistake. 'Cause then I tried to get back into the Marine Corps, even after I got out.
Really?
They put me on temporary disability.
Yeah.
And then I tried to get back in, and I passed everything. Like I was, because I was able to run and stuff like that, and do most things and stuff like that. The only thing that I wasn't able to pass was the psychological part. And so they didn't let me back in. And as soon as I did that, they put me on permanent disability.
And started your med board.
I was already out.
Oh, okay.
That's the weird thing. Like even like. I think I tried to get back in like 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
And then they were even telling me, you've been on TDRL this whole time? Well, you should have been already, permanently disabled. But I wasn't. And so I did all that, and then they put me on permanent disability. But, but like that, I struggled with that a lot, right? Feeling like I didn't do enough. And I distanced myself from my buddies. I also felt like, I was afraid they were going to think of me as being kind of like soft, like weak, like you weren't able to finish the deployment.
Yeah.
You know? And like, cause like some guys, like there's Marines that would fake an injury or, do something to themselves so they can not have to go on the deployment. And I just felt like I was going to be put in that category.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Even after losing a hand, you still were worried about looking like, the guys that try to get out of it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and like I remember when I was in the hospital when I was recovering. This is in Bethesda. I remember like sometimes when I would come out of surgery, I was in so much pain. I remember like trying to get out, like jump out of my hospital bed.
Yeah.
And I would yell at the nurses. Like the nurses would be coming in. And they're like trying to calm me down, and I start throwing anything that was around me. I throw CDs, batteries, just start throwing.
Really?
Telling everybody to get out of my room. I remember one incident. I got really like, I was in so much pain, and I was freaking out. And I tried to jump out of my bed, and I remember telling my dad, because my dad was there with me. And I remember telling him, I don't want to be here. Telling the nurses, I don't want to be here. I want to be with my friends. I gotta be with my guys. Like I don't want to be here. And I was trying to like jump out of bed, and just crawl if I could. I'll start yanking. I remember I would yank out like any like the IVs that I had for like the medication, I would start yanking that stuff out. And dude, it was just, I think the hospital, like the recovery was probably harder than being in country. I feel like.
Oh, I can imagine.
That recovery was just terrible.
Because then you're just going through surgery after surgery.
I couldn't get off the bed for like 2 weeks. Oh, so I couldn't even shower for 2 weeks.
That's hell by itself.
Man, the stench when as soon as I opened up I lift up my blanket, man. That stench. Because I didn't shower from when we were in Iraq and I got blown up. I had not showered even when I got to Bethesda.
Shut up.
It smells so bad.
So you're a month in.
Dog, it was nasty. I still had grime on my hair from being out in the field in Iraq. It was nasty, but I couldn't shower because there was like, remember
so many open wounds and shit.
Open wounds and stuff there, and like you know that remember that freaking like there was like this some kind of virus that was going around in the dust.
No,
you don't know about that?
No.
Okay, so we couldn't, like when people would come into our rooms, they had to like mask up. They had to put these these gowns over themselves to come and see us. Yeah, for like the first maybe couple of days. They cleared me eventually because I didn't have anything. But my squad leader, he had to freaking get some, like, he had to take some medication or something like that.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're 2 weeks in on this post without any showering or anything. So you get pretty nasty pretty quick in Iraq. Yeah. Then you get blown up. And then you come all the way back to the States and you're gone through surgery and you still haven't showered or been bathed.
I only went through surgery until afterwards.
Okay.
So I was able to, when I got to Bethesda, all my feet they hadn't done anything to my feet. The only thing that they had done was amputate my hand.
Okay.
But they didn't close it up or anything. And so
God bless, dude.
It was nasty.
You're lucky you didn't get any infections.
Bro, I don't know how they did it, to be honest. But this is what the worst pain that I felt throughout this whole time was when they had to take those bandages off.
Really?
Yeah, because it was so still
much
open.
Pressure.
No, like when they were taking them off, like from all like the blood and the whatever, like the plasma that comes out from the blood, right? It's all yellow. It sticks to your to the gauze, dude. And so when I remember when we were in Bethesda, I was in the room there. The nurse comes over and says, "Okay, we're gonna have to take the bandages off." And what they do is they get a pitcher of cold water, ice cold water, and they have to pour it on there and then start like tearing off the gauze. And they do that. They do it with the pitcher of water because it makes it easier, or just I don't know if it or maybe numbs it. But dude, bro, I almost passed out that when they were taking it off too, because she was pouring it and then ripping it off, right? And I didn't want to look at it. So I was looking away, and it was so painful. I started sweating.
Oh, for
shaking.
sure.
I had to bite down on a towel, and I was just shaking, dude. And I almost passed out from the pain. And then finally, when she took it off, I didn't want to look, but I looked through the window because I could see my reflection through the window, and I just see it looked like a sharp bit off my hand, dude. It was just like hamburger meat. It was just mangled. It was it was so bad.
You were like, "Fuck,
dude." And
did it smell?
I don't remember if it smelled. I think the reason I think that I didn't get infections is because they did clean it, so they would make me pass out and they would clean it. But when it was so bad. That was like the worst pain I never want to go through that again. And then so once I got surgery and I was able to finally shower, but yeah, dude.
How did that feel?
Oh, it was awesome. Yeah, it was amazing.
For the best shower of your life, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just sitting on a cold shower chair and just rinsing yourself off, probably.
It was awesome.
Damn, dude.
So then it was just I just didn't want to be there, I didn't want to be in that situation.
Oh, I'm sure you wanted out of there as fast as possible.
I felt like I got cheated out on my deployment.
Yeah.
So now I think back about it, I wish that I should have stayed in,
Yeah. But everything happens for a reason.
Exactly.
I mean, you look at you now. I mean, you've been able to do some really cool things, and you started a family, and
I tell my wife that too. I'm like, well, things happen for a reason. If I would have stayed, I don't think I ever would have met you. I wouldn't have my boy. So, but it just sucks because, I still wish that I could have done a little bit more. But
because we met when you were still pretty fresh.
We met in 2015 or 16.
Yeah. And I mean, I think you were just now getting kind of back into the groove of things. We met at Rohagi's at a gun range, if I remember. Yeah, back in 14 or 15.
Yeah. I was like, I think that like at that time I was still, I mean, struggling with a lot of like guilt, you know.
Yeah.
So.
And then we got you out on some trips.
Yeah.
We got to talk about the Baja trip. So you almost got our whole entire organization shut down from a famous picture. So backstory on this is a buddy of mine hit me up to take a bunch of vets down to Mexico to go and party with like 30 supermodels. And I remember telling everybody, I remember telling my buddy, I was like, whatever you do, just, you know, don't use these dudes, don't exploit them, blah, blah, blah. I gave him the ringer, and he's like, bro, these guys are going to have the time of their life. And I'll never forget a text message I got about you. It was a picture of you on the cover of Playboy's website.
Yeah.
And you got your nub on this chick's butt.
Yeah.
I think you're on a boat.
Yeah, we're on a boat.
And you got a Wishes for Warrior shirt. And what it looks like, you're almost got your fist in this chick's ass. And it ends up on the cover of Playboy's website as like disabled veterans hanging out with supermodels or whatever it was. Yeah. And I remember,
dude, what is it? His the quote was don't ask what your country can do for you, what you can do for your country.
Yes, that was the quote.
Yeah.
God, bro, I remember because we were so early into Wishes. Like we were brand new. We were like just starting this charity. And then now I got a picture of this dude. Looks like he's freaking got his fist in this chick's butt crack, but your hand's missing. And, you know, she's got a thong. I mean, she had a bikini on. She's on a boat. And I remember looking at Britt and I'm like, well, it was a fun run, babe. Like we're done. And I mean, we ended up getting a bunch of publicity from it. And it was awesome. But you guys got to go down and hang out with Dan and you know, just have the time of your life. Unfortunately,
we had just gotten there, right? I think we got there at night, so I couldn't see like the layout of the villa that we're staying at.
Yeah.
As soon as because we got to fly in his private jet, which was dope, right? But as soon as we got into the plane, they asked me, what would you like to drink? And I was like, oh, I think I asked for some kind of whiskey.
Yeah.
I don't remember what kind of whiskey it was, but you know, just started drinking as soon as I got into the plane.
Yep.
Just drinking. When we got to the villa again, everybody went straight to the bar. We just drinking at the bar. And we went down to the beach. I was already hammered by the time we got to the beach. And I don't remember, but like there were these like boats out on the beach, and I was just laying out on one. And I was looking up the stars. Everybody went back to the villa, and I was just chilling there while looking at the stars. And then I got up and I realized, like, fuck, I don't know the layout to this villa. You know, I don't know where the fuck my room's at. I don't know how to get back. And so I was like walking on the beach and fucking trying to find and look for the villas. And I don't know, there were security guards there, so they all were like, who the fuck is this dude in the beach? Like, and that's all private, right?
Yeah.
And so like they were trying to like call me over, and so I started running, and he started chasing me. And so I go up to climb up these like, dude, I climbed up this little, because I was way down the bottom. It was like a little hill, and the villa was up there. So I started climbing up to the side where there's no walkway.
Yeah.
Just climbing and freaking through like sand and bushes and stuff, and like get to the villa, and I start knocking at bunch of the models' rooms, like at the windows, trying to find where my room's at. And one of the assistants ends up finding me.
Jeremy, I think it was at the time.
Then he takes me back to my room, dude. It was
That sounds about right. Yeah. That sounds about right. Yeah, we've had some crazy adventures over the years, man. I'm glad to see where you started to where you're at now. And I mean, you've moved, you started a whole new life, and doing great, man. I'm excited to watch you be a dad and to watch that journey with you. I know it's, been probably quite the challenge, and
it's difficult, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, it's good, dude. I'm glad, always here for you, and it's always fun to catch up. I know it's been a while. I mean, you moved, and I mean, we all moved and kind of left Cali and started new lives, and now you're out in Salt Lake and doing your thing now, man. I'm super proud of you. It's good to see you every year at the expo. And
heck yeah, brother.
Catch up on old times. But I'll let you. I know you got to drive to get home. You got the wife and kid out here, but dude, I wanted to just thank you and coming on and sharing your story. And it's been awesome to be able to watch you over the years go from just Brandon to now having a family and doing the whole path and just getting your life going. And it's been pretty cool to be able to just follow along with the journey and see where you're at and where you've come and where you've gone. And I'm excited to see the future with you, dude.
Thank you, man.
I love you, man. I hope nothing but the best. And
likewise,
we'll catch up. We'll see you probably this weekend, headed down to Salt Lake, and we'll grab some lunch. But super proud of you, dude, and thanks for everything that you've done for this country and leaving a part of you over there. And so, if there's anything we could ever do for you, you know where we're at.
For sure, brother. Thanks,
dude.
man.
Thanks for coming on, buddy.
Thank you, dog.